Ricky Gervais. With me, Steve Merchant.
Hello
Steve,
there,
how's it going?
lovely to be here. Yeah.
Karl Pilkington there, pressing the buttons.
Great to be here.
Yeah.
How long can you maintain it?
I'm bored already.
Yeah, already bored of doing
Bored already.
that. Every week you start it the same way.
Yeah.
That was not bad though, you actually grammatically made sense, which is
Really?
impressive. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
A rare treat indeed from Ricky Gervais.
Some of the listeners have already worked out. Got nothing to say at all.
Sure.
Haven't prepared again.
No.
We did come in half hour early to prepare, but instead me and Karl were playing. You had to flick the football into the bin.
Right.
We had 5 goes each, or the world was going to end.
Okay.
And that took up.
That took up a good 25 minutes.
Yeah, I liked it when we came back, and then we started just trying to beat each other in the corridor, and I beat him. I scored a goal. He was gutted because he thought he fancied himself at football, and I beat him. And I was knackered and sweating.
Yeah.
As I walked back to you about 5 minutes ago, you were looking through the records. You went, and this was lovely. You went. Well, we've done the preparation then.
Yeah.
Like a sarcastic teacher.
Yeah, like a teenager, like an annoyed teenager.
Yeah.
Whose parents have embarrassed him once again. And you beat Karl, did you?
Yeah.
Because you're not. I mean, you're not particularly.
I'm not good at football,
Well,
no.
you're not particularly nimble on your feet.
Oh, come on.
No, you're not. Douglas Bader is more nimble.
I'm alright.
You're not.
Alright. But Karl's sort of, I think he's got more skills than me, but he hasn't got the aggression and the
Sure.
weight.
Yeah.
So I just pushed him aside.
Yeah, good work.
Yeah.
Good work.
I'm going on holiday.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm not here next week. What are you gonna do, Karl? Are you gonna do the best of or something next week, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what we've got to sort out.
Well, I can't sort it out. I've got to go to the airport
No,
after.
straight after the show you've got to do some links.
No,
so
I'm not doing any links. I said I wasn't, so.
That's what we planned.
No, we didn't. I said I'd do some during the show, and then you
I thought you were joking.
I honestly can't do it today, so we do some during the show. What are you gonna do? Just put the shows that we've done in this year?
Sorry, guys. I hate to interrupt. This is the sort of stuff we should have been discussing when you were playing football.
I know. Play what are you gonna play?
Let's have a bit of Foo Fighters.
Okay.
Let's just discuss this off there.
Okay. Foo Fighters there, learning to fly. Steve, I hope the pilot that I get today flying the plane that I'm going on holiday in has already learned to fly.
Oh, well done. That is dynamite. That's a textbook link.
Yeah.
That's genius. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Where are you going? What's the story?
Yeah.
Where are you off to?
Sorrento.
Where's that?
Sort of South Italy.
Italy.
Yeah.
What are you like on holiday? Are you a nightmare? Are you the like? Because you're quite. But you're quite. I mean, obviously, I've often said on the radio before that I mean, spending any length of time with you is one of the most unbearable things I've ever had to do. I mean, spending a week with you is nightmarish, and sharing any kind of accommodation is. Do you know what I mean? No, seriously. I mean, it's like hell. It's like a living hell. It's like having a teenager.
No, just do.
It's like having a sort of teenage kid who can't be entertained by anything.
Just chill out.
Just chill out, dude. Just max relax.
Yeah, max relax.
Yeah, sure. And and so if you're in somewhere like Italy, like somewhere like that, because obviously very beautiful city and very cultured and stuff. Is that something that you enjoy? Do you enjoy the culture of that, the beautiful architecture, let's say?
A hotel's the same anywhere. Because as long as there's room service and a nice swimming pool and it's nice weather.
Sure.
If it's not, I'm annoyed. And I need to blame someone.
And is it true that you go, because you go to Italy most years, don't you? Is that because that's the only food you like eating?
I like pasta and pizza, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been to other places. I went to France once, and that you can't explain to them to cook it just cook it properly. I don't want any to cook it. There's blood in the middle of that.
Yeah, sure.
Hungary, it was just, I went there for a while and I couldn't identify the animals they were killing for me.
Yeah.
So, I know quite a lot about natural history.
Sure.
And I couldn't identify what was on the plate, so I don't.
Came home early, did you, after a couple of days? No,
I just got annoyed and I went to McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, that's the great thing about McDonald's, is they are in most major cities.
No, but you can't go wrong with pasta and pizza.
So if I was with you on holiday and and we were hanging out or whatever, and I took you to say maybe a beautiful cathedral, is that something you'd enjoy? I can't quite imagine you actually taking the time to.
Well, as long as it's not a very long walk, we don't have to stay there more than a couple of minutes. I'd love to look around places.
Right, so you'd look at the cathedral.
Yeah.
That's taken, that takes people's breath away. People travel from around the world to see that. And how long would you stay
travel around the world to see it? I think they go somewhere and they go, well, we might as well look at the cathedral. You can't miss it. They're huge.
Yeah. would you sort of spend any time looking at that? Would you just sort of soak in the atmosphere for a moment, or would you?
I'd look at it and I'd go, that's brilliant. And then if there was any sort of soaking in, I can do that later when there's nothing to look at.
Right.
There's less to do.
Your memory of it later when you're in the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can sort of, you know.
And would you? So can you be kind of in awe of something like that?
Yeah,
beautiful architecture and the fact that
if it's big, okay. If I go in the cathedral and it's I've seen bigger, I go, oh, I've seen bigger. If it's the biggest I've seen, I go, that is huge.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That lets you off.
Yeah.
Sure, because you're a sort of man who gets bored, and this is true, Carl, you may not be the familiar with this. Ricky Gervais is a man who gets bored drinking a glass of water.
It's boring.
Because it's not flavoursome enough.
No, it's not
got enough flavour.
It's absolute bore. The only Jane's got me onto fizzy water, which at least got something there.
Right.
But I only drink that when I'm sort of dehydrated in the middle of the night. I never drink a drink of water.
No.
It is boring.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's why you've always got headaches, and you're always
apparently
moaning and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one of the reasons I hate you. But when I say hate you, I don't mean I hate you. I didn't mean to blurt it out that strongly. What I mean is, if I'm spending a lot of time with you,
once right, he said, well, we're in the BBC canteen, and I was sort of like, and he just put his knife forward, and I said, I'll never eat in with you again. I said, what's the matter? He said, you annoy me. I hate eating with you. It annoys me. It looks like a child food. It's just you eat chips and sausage and rubbish. You don't eat. Look at you. Don't touch your vegetables. You don't drink water. He said, he really got annoyed.
Because you've got this like this hatred of anything that's good for you. You won't eat any form of salad.
Why do I eat salad?
Because it's good for you and
lettuce is boring. Lettuce is absolutely boring. Cucumber are boring.
But the thing is, you see, I admit that lettuce and cucumber have not got much flavour, but that's why people will add, say, in Italy, they'll add a lovely dressing. Maybe some olive oil, maybe some balsamic vinegar.
Well, you embarrass yourself, because the good thing about a nice, mature lump of cheddar cheese is you don't have to have any dressing.
Although you add some anyway.
I put a little bit of olive oil in it, and maybe some mayonnaise.
Maybe some Thousand Island dressing.
On a Ritz cracker, you don't need it, it's just extra.
Sure. Well, good luck. I noticed you're wearing is this your travelling gear? You got the sweatpants and the t-shirt, the free t-shirt?
Yeah.
Looking to get an upgrade, are you? Or?
I'm going first class anyway.
Sure.
Badly drawn boy, spitting in the wind on XFM 104.9.
Are you going to be taking in any of the culture in Italy? Is that something you do?
Yeah.
The opera?
Don't know about the opera. I've never been to the opera. I do like a bit of opera. Yeah, I wouldn't sit through a whole one, but I mean, I like the songs they take from it for that World Cup one. And those two fat birds that they sung in Shawshank Redemption was good.
Yes.
But, I think, I haven't gone into it extensively. I haven't studied the art.
The art of opera.
Also, it's in foreign, so you don't really know what's happening.
It's in foreign.
Yeah. So you don't really.
That's annoying for you.
Yeah.
What about, are you a fan of any of the great English operas? Like, The Pirates of Penzance?
Yeah. Gilbert and Sullivan. To me, Gilbert and Sullivan were like their day equivalent of like Richard Stilgoe getting together with Tony Slattery. And then 100 years later people go, it's brilliant. It is like, they might as well, I don't know, make any episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Right, yeah.
Into an opera, and in 200 years time we're going, that's genius.
Yeah.
Listen to this one, look, this is Party Quirks.
Yeah, Amdram Society staging Worst Step. Because I was in the Pirates of Penzance once in an amateur production.
You used to like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
I did, that was
although I did watch it when it first came on Channel 4 about 15, 20 years ago.
But we did the Pirates of Penzance when I was in an amateur dramatic society in Bristol, the Bristol Operatic Society, Light Operatic Society. I don't know why I was involved, because I can't sing. My audition, I thought, this is how desperate they were for blokes. I swear to God, right, I can't sing, you know.
Well, you?
Yeah, alright, calm down. And, I went in and they said, what are you gonna sing? I went, well, I want to surprise you. They said, do you want a piano accompaniment? I said, no, I don't think so. I went to the back, I swear to God, I went to the back of the room and I just sang, Thumbelina, Thumbelina, tiny little thing, Thumbelina dance, Thumbelina sing, Thumbelina, what's the difference if you're very small? 'Cause when your heart is full of love, you're 6 feet tall. I just did that. And they just looked at me like I was the weirdest freak they'd ever had. Immediately put me in the chorus, because that was how desperate they were for blokes. We staged it, we rehearsed it. I couldn't remember the lyrics.
Thank God you were doing Thumbelina.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I couldn't remember the lyrics.
What was it for? Was it Gilbert and Sullivan?
It was the Pirates of Penzance. There weren't enough blokes, right, so that we had to double up. So some of the pirates had to double up as the policemen who were chasing the pirates. A little bit problematic in the scene when the policemen and the pirates have a fight. That was a little bit tricky. And then worse things, there's this sequence where, like, the daughters of the Major General, all kind of like, oh, beautiful, something like, you know, oh, beautiful little girls are we, la 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 la. And the women they must have all been over 40. I mean, real kind of toothless crones, creeping around in their 90s.
Is it the sort of women that buy one of those sort of porcelain dolls from the TV and go, look, I've had a baby. It's not a real baby. It is a real baby. I'm gonna stab you.
Yeah.
One of those.
Exactly. It's the sort of women that you'd see maybe on, TV's Bargain Hunt. You know, the kind of contestants you get on there. Those women who sort of very nam-dram and they think they've clung on to their looks, but they'd have never made it in the guy who was playing there's a guy who's supposed to be an 18-year-old prince, an 18-year-old pirate, the Pirate King. He must have been 40 if he was a day. He also directed the show, though, so he got to prance around in these thigh-high boots. Ludicrous. It was so embarrassing. It was shameful, really.
I'd love to go to Amdram.
Amdram is a whole other world. It's such an incredible place. Because there's so much backbiting and envy and...
Really?
Oh, it's incredible. It's worse than the real world of theatre and TV. It's unbelievable. Because the same old people get to do it every year because they can hold a note.
Can we go along?
You would absolutely adore it, Gervais. It
Just film it, a secret camera.
blinding.
Have you ever done anything in a play, Pilk?
We know this. Carl, you've performed,
just did the talent show, didn't I?
Yeah.
Oh, the talent show, yeah.
Remind us of the talent show.
That's when I did, Walk Like an Egyptian, dressed up as a woman.
Yeah, yeah.
And, did me magic trick.
Oh, that's that, is it an egg?
The egg one.
Yeah.
What was the egg one again?
When actually I've ruined it now, saying the egg one, but I went on stage with, like, an hanky.
Yeah.
And I said, at this point I was dressed up as a caretaker in it.
Sure.
Don't know why, can't remember.
No.
I was stood there with this hanky over my hand.
Yeah.
And I said, right, you're gonna love this one.
Yeah.
I said, I'm gonna make a bird appear in front of your eyes, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh god, what's it gonna do? So I'm stood there.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Pulled the hanky off.
It was an egg.
Had an egg, and I said, oh, it hasn't been born yet.
That's brilliant.
They loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went wild for it, did they? Round of applause?
Yeah.
How old were you? Was that when you were, like, 17?
Was that, apart from your paper round, was that the high point of your life so far? Is that the, what's the
no, I didn't really
Carl,
wanna do
I'd like to see you take that on the road. Or maybe at least up to the Edinburgh Festival next year.
Carl, we'll play a song now, right? One of my, great track, Watch That Man, off one of my favourite albums, A Love Insane by David Bowie. But, during that, can you think of a couple of things for me? What's the best thing that's ever happened to you? Can you think about that for 3 minutes? Me and Steve will leave you alone. Just the best thing that's ever happened to you. Remember and think that is amazing. Yeah, can you do that? Play Watch That Man. David Bowie. Steve's caught unaware there, just wandering around, not quite ready, were you?
Well, no, I'm just relaxed, you know, just laid back, just hanging.
Yeah, Carl.
Yeah.
Best thing that's ever happened to you. Best event, best day in your life.
I mean, there's loads of things that happen. Like,
yeah.
No, but, do you know what I mean? You can go for obvious stuff like, you know, meeting Suzanne, sticking with her and having a nice holiday.
Take that as read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got that on your desert island, that's already done.
Well,
and the day you got your qualifications through.
Yeah, the history.
Probably, I mean, when you asked me then, the first thing that came into my mind, right, that was a real surprise. Right, because it's like, you get surprises on your birthday and that, don't you? But they're not really surprises, because you're hassling your mum and dad for stuff. Yeah. And then they might buy it you. Yeah, so it's not really a real surprise, is it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'd say something that was really like, oh yeah, nice one, I've got something here, is the time when my dad said, empty the bin, will you? Right? I said, oh, do I have to? And I was watching something, it was like, why don't you, or something like that on the telly.
Is this what started your tea bag and banana skin collection?
Right, so it was like, do you know in the summer holidays where you'd have dead good telly in the morning, you had like, the Monkeys.
Yeah, yeah,
it was
banana
splits. Banana splits and all that, right? And I was like, loving that, I was watching that, and my dad said, empty the bin. I said, oh, the Monkeys are on in a minute. He said, oh, just empty the bin. So I emptied it, and I just put it near the door. He said, don't leave it there. He said, stick it near the bins in the garden. I was like, oh, I'll put it there later. He said, no, do it now. Yeah. Right? So I was like, oh, if I miss the beginning of this, I'll be livid, right? So I picked it up quick, ran out down to the bottom of the garden, slung it in the corner, and sort of went to turn back to go back in, and had to look again, because they had like a little AA truck. They bought me, it wasn't brand new, but he'd got it from somewhere, a little AA go-kart. Do you know one of them, like, little things that, I mean, I was young.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was like,
go-kart?
What kind of, the plastic ones.
Yeah.
When you're about, I don't know, I must have been like 5 or 6 or something.
So I don't quite follow. Had he sent you out there?
My dad sent me out with a bin bag so I could see, like, what he'd got me. And it wasn't my birthday or anything, he just got it from somewhere.
You sure you hadn't just nicked it and dumped it out the bag?
Possibly.
Sure.
But, that was like a genuine, like, oh, yeah, smart.
Yeah.
So I went back in, watched the telly and that for a bit and went back out.
You thought,
did I tell you about my go-kart?
Yeah, like you...
Yeah.
About your dad giving it away.
Yeah.
What's the story?
I've told you something.
Have you gone? What? Tell it again.
Well, have I told it on air? I can't remember. Maybe I just told you it. When I was about 8 or 9, I had a go-kart and I loved it. It's one of those that you press back and forth.
Yes.
And I used to come in every day, used to just get changed, and run out, and it was, behind the shed, and I used to just go up and down the garden. And one day I came running in, and I ran out, and I couldn't see it. And I went to the back door, my mum was washing up, and I went, "Where's my go-kart?" She went, "Your dad swapped it."
Your dad swapped it?
Yeah. With it was his mate, Jimmy, in the pub. He went, "It's just," I said, "What?" Oh. She went, "Yeah, he swapped it for a wheelbarrow." So I went and looked back, and there was this wheelbarrow, right, that was obviously just came off a building site.
Yeah.
Covered in concrete. I couldn't, it was steel, right, I could hardly move it.
Yeah.
And I went back and I went, "Really?" She went, "Yeah, it's your wheelbarrow."
See, I'm thinking if my dad lost a wheelbarrow that day.
Yeah, and I used to push that up and down, it wasn't the same. And
you used to push the wheelbarrow up and down? Anything in there, or?
No, I just liked to I was just trying to sort of keep myself amused.
Yeah.
But anyway, that summer, I went on holiday, and I went to Bognor with my mum and my nan.
Another wild holiday.
Yeah, yeah. And I was sort of out by my caravan, and I made friends with this kid, and he'd hired a go-kart from the caravan, is that right? And I remember him going around it, and it was great. And I said, "I've got a go-kart." And the caravan window opened, and my mum said, "Don't lie."
You've got a wheelbarrow. Be truthful.
I went, "I had a go-kart."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so tragic.
Yeah.
Did you ever really forgive him for that? I'd never forgiven my dad if he'd swapped a go-kart for a wheelbarrow.
I just thought that's part of the course, isn't it? You know what I mean? They're in charge.
Sure. Did you used to rush home, change, and into that sort of gardener's gear? Yeah. Straight into your hard hat and dungarees.
I go, "Mum, any bricks need moving?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Oh, that's so tragic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still, that was your happiest day?
Yeah.
Beautiful car.
That's the one that sprang to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my unhappiest. You see how go-karts can be good or bad? Does that make you think, Carl? That the go-kart is, you know, is good and evil?
Yeah. Play
a record.
Oh,
I'm upset. Huh?
Oh,
brilliant, what ads have you got?
I've got these.
Electric Soft Parade. Same way, every day on XFM 104.9, I'm Ricky Gervais.
With him, Steve Merchant.
Sure.
Rick, I only had one thing I had to do all week. Okay?
What was that?
I was so excited about getting up Friday morning, phoning, getting Bruce Springsteen tickets.
Yeah.
The Boss is playing in October. And basically got up too late.
Well, not sold out already, you just
sold out, it had sold out, but I started calling about 12:30, it sold out. I trawled the net, I trawled, all the phone lines.
Some of those buys are bulk buys for selling on, aren't they? They're not all individuals.
This is the problem. I mean, I don't know how many people they can fit in Wembley Arena, but sold out by 12:30, and that's popular.
Wembley Arena?
Yeah.
It's about 12,000, isn't it?
I was so gutted. It was all I had to do. I was so looking forward to it. I phoned up one of those, like, quite dodgy ticket agencies. Do you know how much he was offering to— you know, they're 45 quid to buy. He said the starting price is 225 quid. I mean, that to me is like a ticket tout, like a legal ticket tout.
Are they allowed to do that?
I don't know, it's crazy. I was so angry.
They could make— they'd have to say their booking fee was £150.
Yeah, exactly. So but now I'm like desperate, I don't know what to do. I'm just wondering if I can abuse our position on the radio and just try and scrounge them from anyone who's listening. No, I mean anyone who's listening who's got the power to get them, you know, or—
This is begging, isn't it?
It's exactly what it is, Rick, yeah. Yeah, I was gonna try and dress it up.
Yeah.
But it's just begging.
That ticket tout's after you as well, for dissing him.
Ricky.Gervais.
Don't bring me into it.
Shut up. Ricky.Gervais@xfm.co.uk. If there's anything you can do to get me a ticket, I'm willing to pay for it. Up to the price of 45 quid. You know.
Yeah, wow.
No,
second hand.
Yeah,
30. Yeah. You don't want to throw your money around,
I'll give 25 quid, come on. Don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
But that, I mean, do you know what I mean? Because I'm just, like, I asked Carl if he could sort it out. He's done nothing. He's achieved nothing.
I know.
So I'm just desperate. I'm in a desperate situation and I don't quite know what to do.
I'll tell you this though, Carl. Don't bother doing favours for him because he's not grateful. You give him something, and he goes, right, does this mean I have to give you something back? And I go, well, no. He goes, good.
Well, I got your Cure tickets and you did nothing but
it was
whinge about
rubbish,
it.
that gig.
There you go,
It was rubbish. I went along to that gig, it was a balmy summer's night. The Cure, as far as I'm concerned, owe me a balmy summer's night, because I wasted it. Hour and a half they played 4 hits. I don't want to hear their dirge from, like, some dodgy album and from, like, 1984. I'm not interested. Play the hits. Boys Don't Cry, Love Cats, blah, 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 blah. Instead, I got nothing. I was so angry. I was just, oh man, I was
You were probably angry at Karl, weren't you?
I was angry at Karl for wasting my time getting me the tickets for free.
If I
paid for it,
are you getting to see what sort of a bloke Steve Merchant is?
No, it's not the point. Do you not agree, though, if you're gonna go and see a band like The Cure on a summer's night, Hyde Park, you do not want to hear some obscure B-sides and album tracks.
But that was a great thing about when I saw Bowie at the BBC. He played...
When you what?
You know about that?
I don't know about this.
Yeah, you do.
What? When did you see Bowie?
At the Jonathan Ross recording.
Oh, what, your showbiz friend Jonathan Ross?
Yeah.
What was this? Was that TV thing he did?
Yeah.
You went to that? You haven't told me about this?
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
Well, you were away, I think.
No, I wasn't. Because I watched it on TV.
It was amazing.
Well, don't tell me that.
It was incredible.
Were you seriously there?
Yeah. And then I went on to a show on the Saturday.
Did you?
Yeah. Because I was just, John said, oh, I need someone to come in, And I went on to the radio
So you were
show.
hanging out with Bowie?
Yeah. And
Go on. Who else was there?
Well, the weird thing was...
Shall I go through my favourite artists and you just name them and see if they were there, just let me know.
No, but it was amazing, right? Because he played, just doing local, because it was the Meltdown thing, and he did, Be My Wife, which was great. Then he started doing Fame, right? And they've been talking about Ziggy in the interview. He was going, oh, everyone goes on with Ziggy, will you just stop it, right? And it was sort of like, got to a point where he was going, oh, and it was really funny, and, but Jonathan's like favourite phase was like that. And then he started playing, Fame, and it was really good, and he just went, stop this, this isn't, let's do Ziggy. And my spine tingled. I was well done. And he did Ziggy Stardust, and I'll tell you what, it sounded like the album version. And it's got an amazing band, and I love it when they do that. I hate it when just because they've been going for 25 years, they start changing it.
Sorry, I can't believe that you went to this, that you knew you were going to this, and you never asked me. You never asked Jonathan if you could get me in. I mean, seriously, I mean... You know how much that would have meant to me.
Yeah, but it was very tight. Apparently, I know, but it was very sort of. Apparently, Richard Branson couldn't get in. There was a queue, so I was like special. There was me and Jane went. David Baddiel and Frank Skinner.
Oh, what? Some new showbiz friends of yours, are they?
No, I mean I'm rubbing it in, Steve. I know.
I can't. I'm just.
But you might not have liked it. You might have complained, like Karl got you the Cure, and you turned it back on it.
That was rubbish, though. That was rubbish.
Well, you might not have liked what David did. You know,
I'll tell you this seriously. If I find out that you that you've gone to some secret gig or something in the future, and I find out you've been seriously, that's it. There's no more Office. There's no more. No, I'm not joking. I'm not mucking around, because that to me is like that's what friendship is. That's like textbook example of friendship.
What do you think, Karl?
No, I just think that's really off.
No, you were away. You were.
No, I wasn't away.
Yeah, you were, yeah.
I wasn't away, don't try and fool me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been away. If I was away, I wouldn't have been away if you told me that was happening.
You were asleep.
I'm seriously, we can joke about it, but I'm really angry about this.
What do you think, Karl?
There's a secret, right? Apparently there's a secret Bruce Springsteen gig that's been planned.
I'm going.
Are you? Seriously, but seriously, if I find out you're at that, I will, I mean...
Oh, dear.
Play a record so I can shout expletives at Ricky Gervais. What do you wanna play? I tell you what, lovely bit of electronic.
Oh.
Just to calm and soothe me. Seriously, I'm not joking, that really winds me up. That really winds me up.
The Cure was good.
Electronic, getting away with it. Nice to hear that again, Rick.
Yeah, lovely. Level that.
Someone's just,
you've had a bit of result, haven't you?
Well, no, there's a guy who's phoned up who said he might be able to sort me out with the Springsteen ticket, so deeply excited about that. But, you know, people don't get complacent. He might not be able to.
Steve demands a lot of hard work.
Well, he might not be able to sort it out, you know, he's gonna make some calls, but, if he can't, then, you know, keep calling or emailing, ricky.gervais.
You'll be taking me, won't you? Because after that rant about me not taking you.
Well, you're welcome to go. I mean, if you told me that before, I probably could have blagged some using your name. If you let me do that, I could have phoned up the promoter. I'm calling on behalf of Ricky Gervais, BAFTA winner.
Dear.
He'd have probably, sorted me right out. But yeah, no, I mean, you know, we joking aside, it is quite serious. And And as I say, I don't want to pay through the nose for them, you know, I'm willing to go up to sort of £47. They cost 45 face value,
like that Steve trying to impress a girl in a queue, offered the bouncer £2 for himself if he could go to the front of the queue.
Man, that was so embarrassing.
£2.
I tried to bribe, did I tell you that, Carl? I tried to bribe the, bouncer. He was coming out, he thought he was in total, he was like the bouncer of the Met Club, or the Met Bar or something.
Tenner in.
No, he wasn't. He was picking people off, right? That was it. He was picking people off, and he was going, you can come in, you can come in. I got chatting to a couple of girls. I thought, I'm in here. I'm sorry, dear. And, I thought, I'll act flash. I'll try and bribe my way into the club. The guy was walking past, I cornered him. I went, "Wee, how much is it to go in?" He said, £5. I went, "I'll give you 7. And £2. I thought, because the problem I had was I didn't want to go straight to like a tenner, because if he accepted 7, I didn't want to be that, I didn't want to waste money.
You're right, Steve.
I thought we could at least haggle.
It was the term, is that frugal? What is the term for that? Thrifty? I know,
but I'm resenting this because you are trying to create this this myth that I'm somehow, you know, like that I'm somehow cheating my money, or that I'm not a great lover. Do you know what I mean? And that's sort of, I'm like, it's annoying me. Frankly.
Oh, dear. Carl, you went to, Habitat this week, didn't you?
You're not going to believe this, Steve.
Go on.
He told me
Was
this.
It a bargain?
No.
Do you know I told you about those lads at school with big heads?
Sure, yeah, the big head lads, yeah.
Right.
And the web feet.
Yeah, webbed hands.
Webbed hands, was it?
They weren't there, were they?
They weren't there, but do you know, like, Ricky was always saying, oh, they don't exist, they only went to your school, you know, la la la. It was in Habitat, there was only one sat on a sofa. Not one of the lads, but one of the...
big-headed lad.
A big-headed lad.
What? Is that like, when you say a big-headed lad, is he like Frank Sidebottom big head? I mean, is it like...
I don't know what this is why, you know, it'd be nice to...
You think it's maybe a medical...
Well, it'd be nice to, if there's a doctor listening, right?
Yeah, a doctor listening to XFM thinking, I must phone up and fuel Carl's obsession with the deformed.
Yeah. No, but it's not really deformed.
But how big is the head?
Probably, you see, it's weird how it's always kids who I see with it, so I'm wondering whether they have
grow
a
into
full-size head,
right,
and then when they get older, it works out alright.
Like jumpers. My mum used to get me jumpers a size too big, so it'd last a year.
So, I'm just wondering if it's the same
So how old are these generally? Are they not like adults? They're like kids,
Well, when I was at school there, I was probably about 7, and this kid on
And do they have to wear
Sunday.
any kind of apparatus to sort of keep their head from kind of, you know, not tipping them over, or sort of staying upright?
Like
I mean, well, I'm just worried that the head's kind of too heavy for their body or something, and they're...
No, it's not that big.
Right.
It's just not right. You kind of go, you sort of do a bit of a double take.
Yeah.
Like the fringe isn't sort of, you know, just above their eyes, it's quite high up.
Sure. That sickens you, obviously. And is it something that repulses you slightly? Do you get
No, that'd be cruel.
No, sure.
But, you know.
But it's not cruel to discuss it on the radio.
Well, it happens, doesn't it?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I'd just like to know what it is. If it's like a water on the head type thing.
Water on the head type thing.
Like water on the knee.
Yeah.
But on the head.
Water on the head.
But, yeah, if anyone knows what it is.
Yeah. People with big heads.
Yeah, it'd be,
And it's, okay.
It'd be good.
Good information.
So, what time are we doing?
You sure it wasn't perspective? You sure he wasn't sort of leaning forward and he was really tall? So, the top of the head looked quite big, but then it went to a little body, but really his body was a lot further away.
No, big head.
Yeah.
Just a big head. Rest of his body, fine. Face, okay, everything's normal.
You weren't looking at him in a kettle.
If you wore a hat, it'd be alright, but...
What do you mean, if you wore a hat, he'd be alright?
You'd probably just think, oh, it's a big hat, or something.
Yeah, but what sort of hat?
So you'd wear like a 10-gallon hat?
Yeah, that would go down onto his shoulders with 2 eyes cut in it.
Yeah, like something from the Ant Hill mob.
Yeah, Michael Bentine's potty time.
Yeah.
How would a hat help him?
Yeah. Are you sure this wasn't a Diddy man?
You see, I'm not being mean, I just want to know what it is.
No. Okay. Right. Well, if you are a doctor listening and you know, you want to use your kind of free Saturday.
Not the doctor who phoned the bloke in America and said, where do I get blood from?
Sure.
Not that doctor, because I assume he's been struck off now, given...
Sure, give us a call and sort out the whole big head conundrum. What's the number?
08700 800 1234.
That's also the number to call if you have Bruce Springsteen tickets available. I will pay up to £47.
Don't do it. Go yourself. Don't give them to Steve for cost price. Make a little profit.
Oh, I mean, don't take the mickey. Don't me up. You know what I feel. You've already ruined the Barry thing. Don't ruin some more of my dreams.
But I'll tell you what, if you do get Steve, tickets, he'll be so grateful that he will spend a bit of money on you, I imagine.
Exactly.
You'll buy tickets and, you know, give him something pretty special because you're earning now and, you know.
Yeah. So, let me discuss that with them, Rick. I mean, let's not make any promises.
Yeah. You're in the middle of a phone call there, aren't you? Is that poor bloke still on the line?
Probably not, no, he's gone.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
oh, you're in the middle of something.
White stripes there.
Yeah. Dead leaves and the dirty ground. Steve, what are you doing?
Sorry, mate, I'm just, sort of preoccupied with other stuff. I've got the whole Springsteen thing I'm worried about, I've got that playing on my mind.
I've never seen Steve so worried. Like, usually he sits there with his headphones.
Rick, I've made promises to people that I can't keep. I promised about 3 different people I'm getting them tickets. So,
well, serves
just
you
making
right.
some calls, Rick, that's all.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe it.
Are we doing the game in this hour or what?
Oh, we could do. Should we do that? Your game. Well, what was that thing you told me the other day as well, of talking about it? People have been phoning up about this. I don't think we should talk about conditions of the mind and brain.
Well, that woman's put you right.
Yeah, shown us it's hydrocephalus, it could be, and all it is that it's totally curable and normal life. What they do is, it's a baby born with sort of water on the brain, and it comes out, must hurt a bit in childbirth, and then they just drain it off. It's just full of water.
I tell you what.
What?
Just reminded me.
What?
Weird stuff going on in the world.
But it was from a baby, was it? This was maybe it was a baby. Maybe it was a baby, but it had water on everything.
Well, listen, right, this was a kid with a big head, as far as I'm concerned. He wasn't a baby. But we know what he's got, everything's sorted. But other things, right, that are weird in the world,
yeah,
do you know you're
Carl.
always like, you're going on about, there's no ghosts and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? How do you answer this one?
Yeah.
Someone here, who I work with, right, I'm not going to say they are, because it doesn't matter, but they were eating, space cake. Right?
What do you mean by that, Carl? Explain.
What's a space cake?
For people who...
It's some sort of druggy cake, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
A dope brownie or whatever, yeah.
Right.
So something with cannabis in it, is that what you're saying?
I think it's something stronger than that, isn't it? I don't know. But anyway, he was having this space cake, and...
You better give me the name now, Carl, because I've got to report him.
No, listen.
No,
It really doesn't matter.
No.
Is it Sturgis? Was it Claire Sturgis?
Yeah,
she wouldn't bother. She's gone on the hardest. She doesn't bother with those. It doesn't do anything to her now.
Straight to the vein, yeah.
So listen, right, so he's at a party, right, with his mates, and they're listening to, the, Star Sailor album, right?
Right.
And, he's sat there, and he's had some of this cake.
Yeah. Right.
And, he's listening to the album, and his mate sat across the way, talking to someone else. Right?
That's weird.
The album's on, and he thinks to himself, this track's going on a bit.
Yeah.
And his mate across the way, who's talking to someone else,
heard him say it,
and he goes,
yeah,
it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he goes, oh.
Right.
And he goes...
See, usually at this point, I say, had this bloke taken drugs, but you started the story with, this bloke...
No.
...had done some drugs. Right, Rick?
No, if he was here now, right, he would say, yeah, I know it sounds mental.
Yeah.
But it happened. And it wasn't just a one question, it wasn't just like, oh, this track's a bit long, innit? Yeah, it is.
He had a whole conversation.
A whole conversation with the guy. And
sorry, I just want to clarify, you mean he had the whole conversation telepathically?
Yeah.
Right. He didn't just shout across the room.
And they've recently met up and, like, they've sat there and tried to, like, work out what happened. And it's never happened again.
They didn't have to talk at all anymore.
Yeah. Why did they meet up? Couldn't they just, like, in their own homes? Just stay at home,
do they have to have that cake before they start having a conversation? Hold on, wait a minute, lads. Why are we using our lips?
Yeah.
This is using way too many oh, take them. There you go.
My only question with that is, being skeptics like Ricky and I, whenever we hear a story like that about the paranormal, the first thing we always look for is maybe some other explanation.
Yeah.
Maybe one vague idea.
Lying?
Could be lying.
Chinese whisper.
As I think you pointed out, there are drugs. It's often an issue as well.
Madness. Yeah. Fear. Delusion. Sleep.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many things you go through.
I'm gonna go with the drugs
before your dead grandmother
exactly
pops into the equation.
I'm gonna go with the acid.
Right, tell the other story that you totally believe this as a true story, don't you? The fella with the being killed.
Right, do you know how the other week we were talking about some fella who had his head cut off, and he said, when my head goes into the basket, I'm gonna blink a lot, see how many times I can blink.
But if you remember, when Karl first told me that, it was, I think it was Simon or, Nick that pointed out, he goes, no, that's not quite right, Karl. Karl told me it, that he had his head cut off, and when his head was in the basket, it looked up and said, count how many times I blinked.
Yeah,
but he believed that as well. So he was he was happy with that.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
So yeah, a couple of weeks ago, there was a guy, he had his head cut off, and before he had it off, he'd said, I'm gonna blink to show that there's life after death,
and he did 32 blinks, right?
Sure.
So, you two were sort of putting that down the other week.
Yeah, we were sceptical of that.
So, I looked again
on the internet?
At some other website.
Yeah.
And there's a guy...
Sorry, it's the website, just to clarify, the website is the place where you bought that property on the moon, didn't you? Because it was a bargain.
Right. So, this guy...
Been gazumped.
Look, we'll see who's been gazumped when this world ends. I've got somewhere to go, right? And I know you'll be calling me up, saying, "Oh, can I come with you?"
Haven't you got like 2 square foot?
No, I've got acres.
You're gonna have to stand deadly still on the moon in your 2 square foot.
I've got about 20
There's no
acres.
place for Suzanne, it'll just be you. I'm off, love.
It's all those people with big heads and web feet that've been buying it all these years.
Well, listen, right.
Go on.
Anyway.
Play a record, tell us the story after it. We've been chatting for
sorry, Karl. No, there's no record.
Play a tune, we'll come back with this. What's this, another ghost story?
Let's play one of my favourite songs of all time, because I'm going on holiday and getting into a lovely Serene mood. Sorrento's probably from that. It's Neil Young, After the Gold Rush.
Beautiful. Still to come, that competition as well, look forward to that, Karl's quiz.
Yeah. What an amazing track that is.
Tune, yeah.
Neil Young,
Dynamite.
After the Gold Rush. So go on, Karl, sorry, go on, Karl.
So let's take us back a few steps, Karl. What's the story?
Right, so I did some research. Right.
Let's just recap again. There was a guy you read about who had his head chopped off, he was guillotined.
Yeah.
He had said to the people around him, I am going to blink once I've had my head cut off to show
the brain
that life
can still...
Or the brain can continue to work after death. Okay, so yeah, we queried that.
So you weren't having any of it?
Well, no, possibly for a few seconds, till the oxygen stops being fed to the cells because the blood has drained away. But, you know, nothing spectacular. So
right,
go on.
Well, along the similar sort of lines, right? This is quite a few years ago. This fella sort of upset the royal family doing something, right? So they said that this isn't good.
Wasn't Ben Outton at that Jubilee thing, was it?
I can't remember what it was, and they said, right,
that was terrible.
We're gonna cut your head off. You know, you gotta show people that you can't be doing what you've been doing.
What was this, the 1970s? When you said a couple of years ago, you mean maybe sort of...
Was it the olden days when the phones weren't very good?
Ages ago.
Yeah.
Ages ago, sure.
So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So...
Very philosophical.
Yeah, imagine that, when you wasn't here story. This was literally ages ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Simon Sharma's History of Britain.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, so, and even before that, which is yonks before, when it was all mental and different. Sorry, Karl, go on.
So he's having his head cut off, and he's resigned to it.
It's the day before, he's kind of got it into his head now that I'm not gonna have my head, much longer.
Sure.
So he said, let's make use of this.
Yeah.
He said, I wonder how long, like, the body can stay alive without my head on it, right? So they were like, oh, I don't know. So,
who were?
So...
The jailers?
Whoever he was asking.
These jailers with one eye.
Yeah.
Get that thing.
So he said,
no, wait a minute, I've got an interesting scientific experiment, jailer. Well, fair enough.
What is it?
So, he said, what I want to do, right, he said, you know, surely it's my last right. You know, I'm gonna be dead tomorrow. Sure. So, let's do a test.
He didn't draw it out this long, did he?
Yeah, he said, let's test this out, you know. He said, do us a favour. He said, you know, it's my last day. What I want you to do is, you're gonna cut my head off. Let's put a white line on the floor.
Right. And
see if, you know, because there's no point asking how far he can sort of walk without an head if there isn't a line, because you don't know what to count. Do you know what I mean? If he loses his head and he's running around all over the place, you can't really count
That's not impressive enough, yeah.
So they said, let's make a white line.
Sure.
Yeah. Who said this? He did or they did?
I think they started to join in with him and saying, well, let's make this a...
Sure. You're guessing, go on.
So,
they got Norris McWhirter down. The Guinness people.
Oh. Yeah.
So they said, let's get this white line.
Yeah. And, dedication's all he needs.
We'll do this tomorrow. And he said, alright, I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah. So I'll see you in the morning! Night night, sleep tight. Bye bye.
I love the fact that Karl knows exactly what was said. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, he doesn't know the story or what order it is in or when
but
it
he
was.
Knows exactly what was said.
But he knows the intricacies. Alright then, see you in the morning. Bye, little kissy, kissy, kissy. Oh, I'm not like that. Oh, you joker.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Yeah, anyway.
So he gets up.
Do you want a paper tomorrow? No, I'm alright. Go on.
He gets up and they say, right, you know, today's the day and that, and he said, well, you know, I've got used to the idea, so here's a white line for you.
Got used to the idea?
Go on.
So they go, right, you ready then? And he said, I go on. And they cut his head off, and the body walked 32 steps without a head.
Wow.
32 steps.
Incredible.
And that's the lesson, really.
Did it get as far as it walked along the white line, did it?
Yeah, it stayed along the white line, did 32 steps, and then started to stumble a bit, and it just fell over.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was a test that your body can still keep alive for a little bit.
Yeah.
When you've lost your head.
Absolute twaddle. Absolute twaddle.
What do you reckon you can do then without an head? How many steps?
Nothing.
There'd be muscular spasm, right?
Yeah. It would twitch a bit.
It would, yeah. You could not distinctly take 32 steps. The body well, don't...
Yeah.
Is the doctor still on the line?
Yeah.
The fella that bought 6 parrots.
Yeah.
And, you know, you could
Incredible.
have got 32 steps.
Right, so
A
you don't
beheaded
believe
man
that.
doing a bit of line dancing.
Right, you don't believe that, but something that you do believe that a cockroach can live a week without an head.
It can. Slightly different kettle of fish there.
Why?
Wow, insect to, human is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
That difference.
There's not that much difference in
Well, of course
some
there
insects. Do you know that a snake has a heart and lungs and kidneys and stuff?
Go on.
No, well, I'm just saying.
So?
You're making out as if, like, they're a totally different, like, being.
Species. I am making that up. I mean, call me old-fashioned.
Do you know what you're talking about, mate? I don't want you embarrassing yourself, Rick.
Yeah, I am suggesting they're totally different beings, yeah, that is, yeah. Now, Karl, the cockroach is a very different thing. The interesting there is that it lives without its head, because a lot of it's on, there's some of them are phototropic, chemotropic, some of them just literally have, irritation and muscle memory. I mean, they do have a central nervous system, but it's very different. So if you lose the head, it bypasses a lot of that anyway. All this is run around. The reason it dies is because it can't take on water. But it's very different to a man, right, having consciousness, and then losing that, and the body still going, no, I think I remember what I was gonna do here.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna carefully walk 32 steps along this white line. Imagine you just looking down going, oh, missed a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe the head was in the corner going, left!
Yeah.
Left! Left! Oh, he's now,
Well, let's just put it out. I mean, if anyone listening has maybe had a relative beheaded, maybe in a horrendous car accident, but they got up, maybe they went for a walk, they had a little chat before they passed on.
Karl.
Get in touch.
Karl, you are my favourite being. You are my favourite species.
Now, you, Karl, may not be particularly different genetically from a cockroach.
You are.
Why can cockroaches do that? Why whoever made them went...
Let's play a record.
Do you know what, when I told him this fact, I send him little facts on text messages just to inflame his, you know, interest. I just sent him a cockroach can live 9 days without its head. He texted back, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
What's the point of
They're
that?
not doing experiments, these cockroaches.
It's a boring last week to have.
And he went, and on top of all that, you're thirsty. So it's the worst week of your life, isn't it? That week without your head.
Play a record.
Play a record, Karl.
Competition time next.
Oh. We need some call. Look at his little face. Look at his little
If you've not heard
face.
Karl's competition.
Oh, he could do without an head. M&M. Bit late there, weren't you, Karl? Put your little headphones on. Cleaning out my closet.
What are you doing?
I've got to stuff her face with, toilet paper.
Oh.
Do the competition.
Yeah. Do you know, when we were writing the TV show, I was filming it just for our own amusement, just to sort of, I suppose more as a document, really, so that if there was ever, a court of law that needed, evidence of Ricky Gervais's, I don't know what it is, really, sickness, annoyance. He did this for about 2 hours. You see what he's doing now? He's stuffing his face with toilet roll.
Yeah. And pushing the lips out so I can just show my teeth.
Do you know, that actually makes me want to be sick.
I know.
Yeah, so he gag a little bit.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Good, well, while Ricky does that, Karl, it's time for your quiz.
See, this is what this is on telly.
Right, an example.
You have to be quiet or you've got to take that toilet paper out of your mouth. I'm really serious, because it's really annoying.
Okay.
You gonna be quiet?
Yeah.
Right, an example of the game, just in case people didn't hear the launch of it last week. It's a song title. I tell a little story, and that song and that little story is a song, innit?
Yeah.
Right, so, say, for example,
what did we do last week?
What did we do last week?
The woman who,
Oh yeah, a woman who really wants to, like, have a bath because she stinks.
Yeah.
But she can't, because if she had a bath or a shower or a wash or whatever, she'd end up killing herself.
Yes.
No, you didn't say that. Didn't say she ended up killing herself.
Well, anyway, as an example, that would be one of the stories.
Yeah, she's electric.
The answer there is she's electric.
Yeah,
she couldn't have a shower because she would have ended up killing herself.
Yeah.
Right? So this week's then, and don't say it if you know it, because the idea is that people can follow, right? There's this bloke, and he buys a new house, right? And he's well happy with it. His girlfriend moves in with him and stuff, and she says, right, you know, let's clean it up a bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, straight away it'll be worth more money.
Good idea.
So he says, right, you do the kitchen and I'll do upstairs and that. She's stripping the kitchen down and, he goes upstairs and he's in the bedroom and notices, little hole to the attic.
Oh, right, brilliant.
Right. So he goes, oh, I wonder how much room's up there, you know, I've never weighed it up. So he goes up there and it's all, like, dusty and a mess. And he goes, this could make a good bedroom, this. So he starts cleaning it all out, puts all the rubbish, like, bins the rubbish straight away, and there's little boxes with bits in that don't belong to him. I wonder what's in here, right? So he opens one of the boxes, there's like a little lamp.
Oh, right.
And he goes, this might be worth a few quid, right? And he rubs it.
Magic lamp.
And all the room goes all sparkly and stuff. And he goes, oh, what's going on? And then this fella appears, right? In a nice sort of, pair of 501s.
Right.
And he says, what do you want?
I know it already. So all the first bit is irrelevant.
Yeah, but it's about building the story, innit? So don't say anything. If you think you know it, Steve, do you know it?
I don't. So I just quickly recap the end there. I almost missed the end.
Oh,
so
God.
there you go. He's in the attic, right? His missus is still downstairs. She's not up there.
Okay.
Right? He's on his own, and he cleans this lamp, right?
Yeah.
And this fella appears out of all this smoke, and he's wearing a nice pair of 501s, and he's wearing a shirt, and there you go. What's the song?
What song are you thinking of?
The lines are going mental.
Because it's so easy.
Let's play a record, Carl. We'll come back and we'll find out if anyone's got that right. That's a great one, Carl. Really.
Right.
Did you just come up with that? Literally in the last 10 minutes. Genius. This is genius. Definitely. I mean, if those calls aren't from major TV companies, I don't know. I mean, dynamite stuff.
A lot of them are. What's his name's lawyer? Simon Mayer.
Simon Mayer.
That's my favourite thing I've done for years.
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
That's great. Back to form there. So, yeah, okay, lines. The lines are going mental just because it's easy. Go on then. So I first one to get it. The first one to get it, but...
Well, it's not that, though, Rick. I mean, Carl has just decided to revise the actual rules of the competition.
Yeah.
So that, we've decided, is very easy. So that's now a qualifier.
And so then they have to answer one live.
Exactly. So whoever gets that one right can play for big money. Is it a quick one
as well? Because some people will lose the will to live. Just cut to the chase. And, because they've got a qualify now, we're throwing an Office DVD that aren't ready
you'll sign
yet.
that, won't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That increases its value by 42 pence. Right, go on.
We'll just go live, yeah? Hello, XFM.
Yeah, hi, how's it going?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Listen,
a very, very quick recap, Carl, if you will, please, for the people listening.
Very quick.
Right,
a man ends up in a loft.
Man's, after moving into this house and he's in the loft, and he's tidying up. His missus is downstairs doing the kitchen because that needed doing. He's up there, he's cleaning up, emptying the boxes. He finds a little... He
rubs a lamp, a fella comes out wearing 501s. What's the song?
What's the song, mate?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Well, look, I'm sitting in this bar, right? I'm not ringing up relating to anything that's going on right now. I'm after one of these armbands to go and meet Bowie on Monday. Can you help me out?
What? What? Piss off.
You can't say that to our public.
Yes, I can. What I can't bear is people begging, Rick, on the radio. You know, I can't bear it.
Is that the Australian bloke who's got the Bruce Springsteen tickets?
Hello, XFM.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you phoning up for an armband?
No.
Okay, great.
Jean Genie, of course it is.
Well done.
Well done.
Right, what's your name?
Everyone else can ring off now because this.
Well, she might not take the challenge. What's your name?
Which she will.
Hello.
What's your name?
Christina.
Christina. Right, do you want to take on the challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh,
right.
well.
So this is for... She's already won a couple of CDs. This is for the Office DVD.
Right.
Okay.
Signed by Ricky Gervais.
Right.
So this is the same game again, but we're doing it live. Right?
Okay.
So this is a song title. Right? There's this insect.
I'm loving it already.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's in its little, like, nest. And all the other insects, all its mates and that, are really, like, working, they're grafting hard, they're tidying up, Some of them are going out getting the food.
Some of them have even got heads, they're still working.
Some of them are like, you know, rushing around, but there's this one insect who's just sat there with its feet up, and it's like, you know, just doing nothing, and it's annoying all the other ones, but it's sat there.
The Ricky Gervais bug.
And it's sat there doing nothing, having a little, like, fag and that. What's the song?
I don't know. Oh my god, I'm brainless.
Hold on, I don't know this either. So, obviously it's a type of insect, that's why you've avoided saying what it is. So it's something like lazy ant, lazy bee.
Well, maybe we should throw it back open to the public.
No, and I hope this poor woman who's called in and now got a stupid one.
But Christina's lost it now,
She's lost it. No, she's blown it, Rick.
Oh,
sorry, you
only because you changed the rules halfway through.
Anyway.
She hasn't got a DVD player, so she's not bothered.
Okay, alright. Cheers,
then, Christina.
Bye.
See you later.
So we can throw that back out then, can we?
Well, I don't know.
Is there anyone on the phone? Yeah, go on, take the next person.
So what was it? There was some bugs, there was a bug, and one of them wasn't doing any work.
Loads of them are working really hard.
Sure.
This one's just sat there doing nothing, annoying them all, right? So, XFM? God. Hello?
I'm glad to say, it's in Karl Pilkington's mind.
I like him.
Hello, XFM.
I like him.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh yeah, is it Animal Nitro by Slade?
No, it's not. Good answer. Good answer.
Is it a good answer? That doesn't make any sense, does it?
It doesn't. Oh no, like Carl does.
Yeah.
Hello, XFM.
Hello?
Hello?
Is it Ichiku Park?
No.
Ichiku Park.
Bugs are a bit cheap now.
Yeah, sure. I think they're stabbing in the dark.
They're starting to think like Carl, which I like. Go on, next one.
Hello, XFM.
Hi, is it Scratch Pervert?
No, it's not.
Scratch Pervert. She's come out of nowhere there.
It's good.
It's something to do with lazy bug, or lazy ant, or
Hello,
lazy
XFM.
bee.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, is it Beetlebum?
Excellent.
Oh,
Beetlebum, of course. Beetlebum by Blur.
Sat around doing nothing, it's right, bum.
okay. So I don't win anything now?
Well done.
No, you don't.
Yes, she does. She wins the Office DVD. Take her name and address.
Signed by Ricky Gervais.
She doesn't, because she didn't do the qualifier.
She knew it was Genie. Oh, Carl, let someone win something. It's painful enough listening to you for 10 minutes.
Lads, can we
give
just
away
come down
some
for a moment?
things?
Lads, can we just come down for a moment? Once again, well, I just draw you to my point at the top of the show. When you were pissing about outside in the office, we could have been working through this.
Yeah.
We could have been figuring out the rules.
What's her name?
We could have had maybe some music, some jingles.
Who's that? Who's that?
What's your name again?
Can we do this off air? Let's play a record.
Yeah, no, he's not going to give her an address out. We're rubbish.
This is so rubbish.
We are really
So
rubbish.
what's your name?
D.
D. Right, okay, well, play a record and we'll get your address, D, and we'll send you some stuff.
Thank you.
What I mean, you should come in an hour early, we should sort this stuff out. This is what I've been saying all along. I've been saying we should come in, do a bit of preparation.
I've got things to do.
Simon Mayo used to come in early. That was why
he didn't have to sleep and eat breakfast. Come back around by Feeder on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant, and our producer there, I say producer, Karl Pilkington, alright?
Alright.
Yeah, we got to slicken up this thing. If we're gonna be as good as Mayo, we've got to come in early and do the work.
Yeah.
Let's get in at 10 to 1 next week. We're not in it next week, are we?
No, well, I mean, we would be, if it weren't for the fact that you need a holiday already. You've done 3 weeks, but yeah, you need a little rest.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't on holiday last time, I was working.
Sure.
So what, you're just gonna do a best of, are you?
Yeah, just dig out some bits.
And what are you gonna do? Just lump them together?
Just, like, pick some favourite bits.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
that'll fill up 10 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you what, do this then. Do the links then. So.
Well, why don't we do some sort of stock links now then?
Okay then. Do you remember that, Steve?
Oh, that was a great moment, yeah.
I'll tell you what though, I love the bit when he, just play
let's just play it.
Right, so you play some of there.
Can you do a proper intro, so it's like, you know,
okay.
Oh, yeah.
You know what song we're gonna come out of?
Just say generic, like, that's a good song.
Well, let's work out what it might be. Okay, well, what do you want to start off with next week then? Well,
give them a few options.
Okay.
Give them a couple of options. That was a great track by Oasis.
Yeah. Oasis there. Well, we're not actually here today, Steve. We recorded these last week. I'm on holiday. What are you're just probably chilling out
with a lady.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Stop phoning, ladies.
This is like the best of last year, and we're going to kick off with a classic clip. Who can forget this? All right. So
then just weave that in.
Yeah, and then come out of that, come into a record or something. So I come out of another record.
Just one more, just in case I need it.
Okay. I don't know. That was Bob the Builder there. Shouldn't really be playing that on XFM, but...
Stupid car, stupid. Don't know what you're thinking, mate.
You buffoon.
Yeah, you're an imbecile.
Oh, okay, I know. Ah, great track. I love that.
Yeah, beautiful.
Wow, I love it with it.
Yeah, no, come on, let's get these right. He needs to use these next week.
Okay, another great track.
We just do this later.
I've got to go. I've got to run away.
Down to the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this isn't going to work. It's a mess.
Well, just oh yeah,
well,
like
that'll be fine then for this show. It can slot right in, Carl.
Yeah.
Talking of a mess, mate, your competition.
Yeah.
It was a shambles today. I mean, last week we gave it the benefit of the doubt because it was the first time we'd done it, but you've got to think it through, mate. You can't be making it up on the spot like that and changing the rules.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, mate. I mean, I know you did it with the best intentions, but it was
I feel worried that people think we get at Carl and everything.
Yeah. But that was appalling.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was interminable. I think you've got to compress those stories. You've got to tighten them right up.
He gets paid something like 30 quid extra for this as well. So, I mean, he's getting good money for it.
Listen, right, you say that you've got to compress it, right? The way I look at that competition, it's like Columbo, right? The murder bit at the end is done in like 3 minutes, but you drag it out for an hour.
Yeah.
So you sort of make it exciting and like, oh, I wonder where he's going with this.
Sure.
And it worked. You know, D Hudson, she's walking away with the DVD, she's laughing.
Yeah, but Dee's fine. She's the only one who's gained. Everyone else has had a miserable time.
Yeah.
Of course she's happy. She's won something. But what about the listeners? There's no entertainment value
I mean, they're loving it now, because me and Steve are on, and this is scintillating stuff.
Yeah, this is dynamite stuff.
This is amazing stuff, talking about we're not going to be here next week, and doing next week's links.
Yeah.
Because I can't be bothered to come in early. Okay, wow, excellent. Well, it's, that's 1:45, Steve, on XFM.
I've enjoyed this wonderful collection of our greatest moments.
Yeah, there's still more to come.
You'll be next week, won't you?
Yeah, I'll be back next week. Okay, I'll do the last one. Well, I hope you enjoyed, some of the best of moments there with,
I'm not gonna use these.
Why not?
Well, they're a mess. Forget it. Well, forget it. We'll do them in a bit when you're done.
I cannot do it.
When's your plane?
It doesn't matter when the plane is.
We can do it in a bit.
I'm definitely not doing it.
I'm not wasting my time going through that.
Well, I'm not doing it then.
So
there won't be any
waste our time. Right. We'll get it then.
My favourite Suede song there, Stay Together. By Suede. Stay Together.
Well done. That's what you're being paid for.
Well, no, because it could have been a Suede song sung by Atomic Kitten.
Sure.
And like I said, that's my favourite Suede song by Atomic Kitten.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Thanks for that.
Do you think this is the worst show we've ever done?
No, I mean, we've done some god-awful shows in the past.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, some real grim ones in the past.
Okay. Do you think people see through it even before we tell them that we're not really cutting the mustard, putting the F in? We had nothing to say last week.
No, I don't think anyone's fooled. I think some people are tolerating us because they quite like your TV work, but I mean, other than that, I think they know
and they haven't played good music.
Well,
we don't skip on the tunes.
But if I was listening to this, I'd be thinking I could do a better job. I'd be livid if I worked in like a bakery or something, and I was like, I hate this job, and I'm listening to us, you know, gibbeting about on the radio. I'd be livid. I'd be angry.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, if this was a BBC show, I'd go mental.
Why?
Well, because I'd be paying a licence fee and everything. So
okay.
It would feel like it was my money being squandered.
But we don't have to.
At least this is advertisers' money being squandered.
Yeah.
You know, this is big corporations. Screw them.
Yeah, and people haven't paid anyway, have they?
A lot of them haven't.
They probably paid for the batteries in their radio.
Maybe if they're listening in.
We're sorry about that.
Yeah. I feel guilty just for wasting their time, Rick.
But next week's gonna be a clip show again.
Yeah, there's gonna be a clip
Carl's
show.
gonna do. We've decided that Carl's gonna just do the links next week by himself.
Or maybe get a guest hosting, maybe you know, like, what was that guy? Dennis Norden?
Yeah.
A Norden type.
You know, in the Sony Awards, you hand in one show, don't you?
Yeah.
We could hand in next week's, couldn't we? Because it was broadcast in this year, just that it's a clip show from years ago.
Yeah.
You know, because you could hand in I Love 1975, couldn't you? In the BAFTAs or something.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. So should we, you're even bored, aren't you? You're bored with this show as well. This is terrible attitude. We're allowed to be bored. We're the talent, right?
I thought you were gonna give us like 10 minutes after the show to do them, but
I can't. I've got to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to wrap it up, Steve? Because Ricky's taxi might be waiting now. So
no, it's
listen to this attitude, Ricky. Are you going to put up with that? Don't you know who you are?
I just don't believe it. They should be chomping at the bit to go. They should. I can't believe their luck.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And do I get treated any different? No.
Yeah.
Worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Answers on a postcard if you can figure out what that sentence meant. And there'll be a DVD on its way to you. Listen, We had an email from Glenn and Sharon, and Sharon was rushed into hospital last week, and they wanted us to play something for her. She's back now and she's okay, but anyway, they always listen to the show, they're big fans. They asked for some Nick Drake. I'll play some Nick Drake next time, but instead I thought we could play a classic Dylan track. I know you're a big fan of Dylan.
Yeah.
Just Like a Woman, it's just beautiful, and that's my song for the ladies. We won't see you next week, Ricky's away, but there should be a hilarious compilation for our best.
You alright? This is Karl, producer of Ricky Gervais and Steve Merchant. They're not about today. Ricky's on holiday. Steve couldn't be bothered. So, I'm left here with all the DATs. That's a digital audio tape, of all the shows they've done since they've been here, over the last, I don't know, year and a half or something. So, we'll play you some of the best bits. Alright, so, here's the first bit.
I just wish we could maybe tape the bits we're not on air, just because that's when Karl comes into his own.
Yeah.
He just said to me, I don't know what I was doing, I was sort of like pottering around, dancing around, doing something annoying probably, and he just looked at me, I looked around, he was looking at me, and I looked back, and he went, have you ever used a Y-front properly?
Genius.
It's a great question, because the answer's definitely no.
Definitely no.
Does anyone use their Y-front properly? And by that, I mean, get your winky out of the little sort of, slot provided, as opposed to, like, put it to one side or pull them down or whatever. Has anyone used a Y-front properly?
I don't think I've ever done it.
I don't think I've ever done it.
I've never seen anyone in a toilet doing it, Rick.
You should be looking.
I wish I hadn't said that.
I caught ya. Really?
Yeah. That's actually how you prove people are gay.
Yeah.
You get them into this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap.
It was the trap.
Yeah. I'm not gay, by the way.
Yeah.
You didn't prove I was gay, I double bluffed you. Because I knew the old gay trick.
I thought it was the old gay lord say no thing.
That is another method. Yeah, there's innumerable methods of doing it.
That's how Oscar Wilde was caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, the judge went to him, did you see that film last night? Gay Lord Say No, and he went, no, and they went take him away.
Yeah. Take him down to the cells.
Yeah, take him to Reading.
It is true.
Well...
It originated in America.
Yeah.
So many of these things do. It's a brilliant point, Karl. I'd like to hear from anyone listening who's, and I mean, well, they'll just lie, wouldn't they, I suppose?
Yeah. I don't even use, sort of flies.
No?
Usually. I sort of pull my Y-front, my sort of tracksuit. That's why I wear sort of like elasticated waistbands all the time.
Exactly.
Just sort
Speed.
of like... Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get in there with the minimum of effort.
Yeah, and out.
Sure.
Often I won't shake.
No, well, no.
To my detriment, because it often leaks out a little bit later, doesn't it?
Ever been out on a date with a girl where it's just trickled down your leg and you wish it hadn't, and you're thinking, what if she gets my trousers off later? She's like, smell it or see it.
What? Like what?
I don't know. I don't know what I said there.
Right.
Rick, I had for Christmas something which I think might excite you and interest you, because I know you're obsessed and interested by facts.
Yeah.
Don't fiddle with the microphone.
Well, I was just looking at what it was underneath it.
So this is a book, it's just facts and trivia. It's edited by Sir Isaac Asimov, who I think's dead. So I don't know when my parents bought this book. I assume it's sort of from a second-hand shop or something.
Right.
It's quite long, but I got it for Christmas. I keep meaning to bring it in, because generally the facts are quite sensible in here. And I like to think if Isaac's been involved, they're probably substantiated. It's not like, kind of just this nonsense on the web. I think that this is probably...
Or up in Greg's the Baker's that Karl gets most of his facts from.
The ancient Egyptians trained baboons to wait on tables. Karl, fascinated.
Brilliant.
That's fantastic.
But what my point about that is, why did they stop?
Yeah.
It's a genius idea. Would you not want to go to a restaurant where they had baboons serving?
No, I'll tell you what happened. It might have been like the Planet of the Apes, and they sort of rebelled. One of them could talk, one of them could take his order, and one day went, do you want fries with that? And the bloke got really annoyed and said to answer him back, and then there was some sort of rebellion.
Right.
The Planet of the Apes isn't true, is it?
It's not a documentary.
Right, okay.
I wonder, because what I like the idea of having baboons is the fact that I reckon they're, like, I have difficulty, and I'm sure you do, Karl, like, working out that sort of 10%, you know, on a bill.
Yeah.
I reckon baboons would find that particularly hard. I reckon you could get away with under-tipping them all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Just not leaving enough and just legging it. Exactly.
They go away and you go, sucker.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd love to see some baboon restaurants. If there's any restaurateurs out there, so Terence Conrad or someone.
If you do go to a restaurant and you've been waiting on those, please don't order the banana daiquiri, because it comes half-eaten. They can't help their little selves. They really can't. They're okay with, like, you know, beef and steak and chips and all that. But there's a little bag. I go, do you buy?
Can you imagine that? The baboons serving at waiting tables. It's genius. Just stop to think about that. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely dynamite.
Yeah, that's a
See,
good
zoos
fact.
would be a lot more popular if there was like the canteen and you could go.
If they were serving tickets to 2, yeah,
Exactly.
1 child, well, okay, go through there.
But I
Okay.
think they should do other things, like in the Flintstones, they used to mix cement in that bird's kind of thing.
Pelican, yeah.
We should start doing that again. Because that also happened in ancient times.
Yeah, exactly.
According to the Flintstones.
Yeah, before they had proper cement mixers, that's what they did.
That was how they did it.
Definitely, yeah.
Just animal facts. I remembered one in the week.
Go on.
There was, do you know them 2 gay American men who have tigers?
Okay, the 2 gay ones, yeah, go on.
2 possibly gay guys.
Yeah, let's not worry about libel law anymore then, or... Yeah,
if you
go on.
shave a tiger's head...
Whoa. Right, okay. You've got to treat that sentence with a lot more reverence than you did. Think what you're saying. If you shave a tiger's head...
Not just its head, its whole body.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
So I thought you were getting weird. Go on then, yeah, if you shave a tiger, yeah, go on.
It's still stripy underneath. The skin's...
Is it like rock?
It goes all the way through.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Where did you hear that one?
I remembered that, like, I was
Was
watching...
that drunk just shouting it in the street?
I shaved a tiger and it's still stripy. Get out of here. Yeah. Well, you know a polar bear? Polar bear's skin is actually black, and its fur is transparent, not white, and it gives the illusion. So it gets all the radiation possible from the sun, but it's still camouflaged.
I didn't understand that, Rick. Sorry, you lost me. If its skin's black,
a polar bear's skin is
and
black,
its fur is translucent,
and its fur is translucent.
So why is it white when we see
Well, it's just because the light hits it and
the sun reflects off?
Yeah, and it makes it look white. Yeah, so if you look at each individual hair, it's actually translucent.
So at
there, its
night
hair.
it would be black.
Well, everything is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, not bright stuff, Rick. You've embarrassed yourself. Play a record.
And it got onto one of Carl's favourite programmes, was the Tales of the Unexpected.
Ah, of course.
And all I can think is that he's probably the only person in Britain where they were unexpected. I mean, to him, when that twist came in, he'd go, gee, I can't...
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Can't believe
So it was the tree that did it. I mean, he was probably the only... And we were telling all these stories of horror, and he liked horror stories. And I told him this story, and I don't know if this had come across the radio, but I told him this story. It was a short. It was a horror short.
This was a film you saw, was it?
Yeah. And, what it was, it started off, just there'd been a car crash. You see, it's a horrendous wreck. And you saw it from the point of view of the person in the car. And he was calling for his mate, and he was going, Dave... And he sort of looked over and saw a body without a head that had been thrown at. He goes, oh no, Dave. And then into the field of view came Dave, his mate, and looked at him with a look of horror, and then it sort of went black and you realised that he was just a head, and it had been his body.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And I said, then it came up at the end, at the executions in the French Revolution, people experience consciousness for, and he went, oh, no, he said, it wouldn't be for that long. And then he went, if it was a chicken, it would work. Imagine remaking that film, but it's 2 chickens in horrendous car crash.
Their own fault for driving.
It would work. No, he wasn't having that.
Yeah.
No, it was too long. I think he said, how long was this film? Went, oh no, 5 minutes. He went, no. It would work if it was a chicken.
I like the way that Carly and something like when you relate an incident like that, he's appalled and offended and annoyed by the people that made it, even though he's never seen it.
Oh, he's annoyed. Yeah.
Do you have a favourite Tales of the Unexpected, one that you remember particularly that shook you up?
Yeah, we were talking about the one on where there's some woman in prison. Have you seen that one?
No, I can't remember them all.
Right. This woman's in prison.
Yeah.
And she gets a bit friendly with the guy who takes the dead bodies out.
Right.
And he said, I can get you out of here. He said, what you've got to do, right? You've got to, I don't know, at midnight...
When you hear the bell toll, that means there's been a dead body,
yeah, there's been a dead body. So what you've got to do is go into, like, the place where all the dead bodies are, get in the first coffin on the right, and then I'll come along and carry you out, and you can run away and escape, right? So she goes, yeah, all right then. So she hears the bell go.
I'll bury you, right? And then I'll come back later and dig you up.
Right.
Yeah, but
that's the point.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. Trust me, Carl, it really matters.
Okay.
Listen, I don't know if I'm going to ruin this for people at home.
Yeah.
Can I just skip to the end? I would imagine that she gets buried and he doesn't come back, and she has to get buried alive.
Better than that. So she gets in the coffin, and she's lying there for ages.
She's buried.
She can feel a bit of movement going on, so she's obviously, being carried somewhere, so she's thinking, this is it, I'm getting out. And I mean, she's lying there for ages and thinking, why ain't someone coming and lifting the lid off this? Do you know what I mean? Letting me get out. So she's really bored. She gets a lighter out, right? Lights it to have a look at who she's lying on. It's only the fella who said he'd help escape.
Oh.
How bad is that?
That is... How bad is that?
So it is quite important that she's buried alive then, isn't it? In retrospect, you realise that the jeopardy is that she's buried alive and can't get out.
Yeah.
It makes it so much worse, doesn't it, than just like lying in the morgue and going, actually, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna work.
Look at Carl's face. Having told that, he's so pleased. His face is lit up. He's beaming like a child.
Have you seen any?
Is that your favourite horror thing ever?
What was that one you told me about with the porn? That was a good one.
Oh, this was fantastic, right? Right. There was this,
Sorry, can I just check now? We're just remembering classic episodes of the Tales Unexpected.
No, this is important. Well, I saw one, right? I saw one, on Tales Unexpected, right? And it was, these two gents, what they used to do, they look down the obituaries, and they'd blackmail, the wife or the son of a dead eminent person, like might be a priest or a doctor, like that, and they'd go and they'd say, he bought some, erotic, stuff from us, before he died, and he owes, 100 guineas and all this sort of stuff, and they'd pay up because it'd be so embarrassing. They just didn't want them to say, just pay him, right? And this one bloke said, who are these people? I'll meet with them. And he goes round there, and he goes round, and, they go, your father, he goes, my father could not have bought any erotic material from you. They did it, he goes, he couldn't have, he's blind. Right, and that was the twist. And Carl went, so it was magazines, not videos then.
Yeah. Now think about it, Steve. Is that so stupid?
Well, presumably it was set in olden times because people, professional pornographers don't tend to call it, you know, erotic material.
Yeah.
They tend to call it, you know, juicy jugs or whatever. But more than that, I don't understand how a video is going to be any use to a blind person either. I know that you can hear the sound, Carl. Look at him nodding like he's caught me out.
Yeah, what sound will you hear? Do your meter needs looking at? Yes. Cut. What's then? What's that? Then it's just noises, isn't
occasional groans.
Yeah.
Right.
You could listen through the wall at your neighbours.
He does.
I mean, that's why I save a lot of money. But I thought you were going to point out, Carl, that they could have had a Braille porno. Now, have you thought of that?
Look, feel the lumps on that.
Exactly. Think about it, Carl.
Think about it.
You're excited now.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend's away, Carl.
Yeah, the cheese grate has only entered the cupboard.
No, she's a good-looking lady.
Yeah.
Have you ever been hated? Make you cry, but tonight I'm cleaning up my closet.
104.9 XFM. Hello. I'm Carl. Ricky Gervais and Steve aren't here, so we're playing through some of the best bits. I say the best bits. It's the bits that came across first. I mean, I'm not wasting my time. I'm a busy man. You know what I mean? So here's another bit.
What do you make of the first genetically modified baby?
Oh.
Are you worried about this?
Do you know what did they do? What?
Let me see what it says here. It says,
isn't it just choosing the, you know, eye colour?
Well, this is the concern, isn't it? That in the future you'll be able to decide whether it's a boy or a girl, how intelligent it is, what it looks like, is it handsome, is it ugly? Obviously, no one will choose an ugly baby, and so on and so on and so on. And so it means that, you know, where will it lead? Where will it end, Carl? Are you concerned?
I've thought about this a lot.
What will us three look like in the future if they're being, you know, genetically modified beautiful people? What will we be like? How will we be considered in society?
True, yeah. But we've talked about this before, haven't we? About the cloning thing.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters, because at the end of the day, right, you might look like some other kid, but it's the way you're brought up that will change your features and the way you are, you know, your personality.
If you lie, you get a long nose, don't you?
Well, no, but listen, right, because I remember when we, you know, I was growing up on this estate.
This is going to be good. Go on.
No, it's not. It's just an example of how this doesn't work.
Go on.
So we don't need to worry, sort of thing.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm growing up on this estate, and there was this woman about 4 houses down, right, who's a bit rough. Alright?
Didn't fancy her.
Oh, God, no. Right, but she had a baby.
Well, tell me about her first. I'm interested in this woman. Why was she?
It was a very...
Was it like a man in a dress?
I mean, I didn't grow up in a posh house or anything, and I'm not saying that if you live in a bit of a rough house, you're a bad person.
What did she look like?
But anyone can clean up.
Looked like Tony Green with a fag on.
They didn't clean up much, right?
Oh.
Which even if you've not got a lot of money, you can still try and make a place look nice.
Yeah.
Right? But she didn't, and a kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry. Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean, a kid used to take a horse into the house? Where did he get a horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. Must have done.
You seen a horse do it? No.
What, is that from outside the saloon round the corner?
Yeah, was it just tied up with a bit of
Right?
oh, that's great. Did Big Jake come looking for it?
I'd been out.
Oh. Sorry, let me get this. This was before the lynching stopped or after.
Where did he get a horse from? What do you mean he must have nicked it? His mum said, where'd you get that from? I bought it. Alright then. But keep it out of the kitchen.
I don't want you going Catlin rustling.
Where did he get a horse from, Carl? And how long did he have it for? Was he leading it or riding it? Mum, open the door, I can't stop!
I can't stop it. Open the patio door as well.
Looks like we got us a runaway. What do you mean?
I don't know, but the thing is, they couldn't afford to buy one because they're not cheap. So I'm just guessing. Maybe that's wrong of me. But I think...
He had a horse?
Yeah, right. So
that's why the family didn't have any money, they'd spend it on the horse.
No, I don't think, that's what I'm saying, I don't think they would have bought it. So anyway...
Yeah, it's wise to whisper, Carl, in case they're listening.
Yeah, and
they could be in the room next door.
It's not buying it, it's keeping it as well. Oh,
so I was like in the car with my dad coming into the avenue, and you used to have to drive down it to turn round. And, and you know, sort of go back to our house.
You had the traditional method of transport, yeah.
And the horse was in the lounge,
reading a paper,
just like walking around.
Oh God! What?
And when I was doing, I tried to earn myself some money once by flogging little flowers in plastic cups.
What? This is genius. It just keeps coming. What do you mean you're trying to flog little flowers? What do you mean?
Wait. Let's play a record. Let's play a record and come back to this. This story's going to just unravel and unravel. It's going to go on for hours. Let's play a track,
deeper and deeper. It's like an onion, isn't it?
We've created a whole world here where there's a man living with a horse.
Just walking around the lounge.
I come from the West Country. I've never heard anything like that.
I just think of a big sort of like orange carpet and a rediffusion telly and this horse going, I'm fed up in here.
Exactly.
This is really...
I am not taking the rubbish out again.
Yeah.
Right, play a record. Let's have Velvet Underground. We've got that lined up.
Oh,
yeah, the classic from the first album. I'm Waiting for the Man. Let's come back to the horse in a second.
Little flowers in pots. What do you mean?
From that classic first album, Velvet Underground and Nico, which apparently peaked at a disappointing 171 in the US charts.
Think of that.
And that's obviously Lou Reed, the Velvet Underground, and Waiting for the Man.
Yeah, great track. So, we were talking, we were doing White Van Man, and we got onto
genetically modified babies, but
and
somehow
then Carl started telling a story about someone with a horse, and then he got onto, he was trying to make money selling flowers. Just do the flowers briefly.
Well, hang on, I just want to recap slightly. So there was a family, and who had the horse in the family?
It was...
Because you lived on an estate in Manchester.
So the mother was a right pig, apparently. Well, I don't know if that's relevant.
You don't need to go that far.
But
what I'm trying to do is, like, make a picture for you so you understand.
What does she look like? Who did she look like?
Bit of a, and no disrespect to her, bit like Pauline Quirk.
Quirky, yeah.
Right?
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. I knew it was going to be Pauline. Did she have any tats? Did she have any tattoos?
I've never got that close to her.
Okay, alright.
So who had the horse? Was this her son or her husband?
No, her daughter.
Her daughter had stolen a horse?
Yeah, from, I don't know where, there was I think there was some stables down the road or something.
And they kept the horse in the house with them?
They kept it in the house.
Did they
didn't have it for long.
No.
Sorry, and you said you were in the house one day and you saw the horse in there?
No, what happened was, I was, they did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity. And they said you can do anything to raise money, and they came out with all these ideas, and I thought, that's good.
What was the charity?
Well, I don't know, I thought, forget the charity.
Yeah, that's just a good money-making idea. So, you're a charity.
So, so I asked my mum for some, because she used to have a lot of flowers around the house.
Sure.
I said, can I just take some snippings off them? And, I'll go and buy some plastic cups. And, got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them.
Yeah.
Got a tray.
Yeah.
Had about 25 plants on it, selling them for 25 pence each.
Excellent. Did you sell any?
Yeah, so loads.
Did you just cut, you didn't just cut them and stick them in the soil?
Yeah, they want to survive.
Oh.
But I think people sort of thought, well, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs, because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a bit rough. So as I went...
The horse went, thank God for that breakfast. They've been feeding me kitty cat.
So I got up to the door, and they opened the door, and it was one of them houses where no carpet.
Yeah, a horse in the living room.
You know.
We've all been there.
And the horse was walking around the living room. I looked quite happy and everything, because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay, or in like a house with a
central heating,
3-piece suite, and a telly and that?
Telly and that.
No, but I was saying this the other day.
And an Atari,
right? I was walking through London.
Commodore 64, rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And she said, "Oh, I hope she looks after it." I said, that dog is happier than most dogs.
Right.
Because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open, it's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't eat, but other than that.
No, it does eat though, they're always alright. So that's what I was saying, I think this horse was doing alright for itself. Do you know what I mean?
Well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start, yeah.
But anyway, that's
by the by.
Yeah, so anyway, this family, who's a bit, what we were talking about, it was about cloning.
Genetically modified kids and all that stuff,
Right, now what I'm saying is, you could say, you know, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right? And Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that.
Yeah.
Right?
It could happen, Rick.
So
come on, work with him.
So you take it to the doctors, and I don't know what they do. They inject it with something or whatever.
Yep, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
And get a little baby, and there it is. It looks the same. Now the thing is, you separate. You both go off and do your own things.
Yep.
Right. Now, you look at Stephen. This is you look after your baby.
Yeah.
You treat it well. You give it good food and
I'm a good dad.
all the vitamins and stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky just gives it cheese. Right. So then it changes its looks. It goes a bit fat. You know, it gets tired easily, and that sort of thing. Now, when this family...
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
Right, this family who had a horse in their house.
Yeah.
They had a little baby, and my mum went round and said, "You're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby," right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you know. And the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying, like, abusing it, but it used to run around, it used to play out till, like, 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit...
Did it have hooves?
No. Chase cars!
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh, God.
No.
Was it called Rover? Did it catch stick?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly and its hair was all patchy.
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
And chasing cars and that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's how you brought up.
Brilliant.
Wow. Wow.
Life. Wow.
That was a hell of a point.
Oh, God.
But am I right?
Oh, you're always right, Carl.
Alright, this is Carl, the producer of Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant on XFM 104.9. We're playing out some of the best bits, hope you're enjoying it. Here's another one.
And now it's Carl's bit. It's the re-education of Carl. He's like Liza Doolittle. And now he's coming, or Lawnmower Man, if you've seen that film. More like Lawnmower Man, if you've seen the film. You'll know what I mean. And his homework was to just study quotes, really, on happiness and stuff, and general well-being. He's not a big happiness, quote fan, are you, Carl?
Not really.
So what have you done? You've come up with something, haven't you?
Right, yeah, I told you, right? Because a lot of these are just things you say every day. They're nothing special. So what I'm doing...
Well, you say them every day.
Well, the sort of things you come out with and you don't even think about it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're on the TV all the time, people on the radio are saying these sort of little quotes.
Sure.
And, what I've done is, remember that programme on Channel 4, Faking It?
Yeah.
Where they got some, like, posh kid to be on a door and all that. What I've done, I've,
Imagine if that was the pitch for the show. Dear Channel 4, just gonna get a posh kid on a door or something?
Yeah,
Yours sincerely, Carl.
come in. Yeah.
TV producer.
Yeah, yeah, go on.
So, what I've done, this little book of quotes, happiness quotes, I've picked two that are real.
Okay.
And I've made one up. Right?
And we've got a guess.
And you've got to guess.
Okay, then, go on.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rick, why don't we, when we've heard them, we won't confer.
No.
You'll write down yours, A, B or C, and I'll write down mine and we'll see how it
Okay,
works.
Carl, off you go.
Right, and just because I'm looking at this book, it doesn't mean I'm actually reading.
No, I know.
Don't worry, we're clever.
No, we know. We can't see.
Like call my bluff.
Yeah, go on then.
Nothing is worth more than this day.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The way I see it.
Oh God! My head's gonna burst.
No, hang on.
My head's gonna burst.
No,
hang
no,
on.
this might not be Carl's.
Oh, it might not be.
How do you know I haven't tweaked them a little bit?
Yeah, good
Okay,
point.
fair
Good
enough.
point. No, good point.
The way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right, yeah.
Okay. Hang on. Yeah.
Come on.
Cat food.
Cat food, come on.
It stinks a bit. But if you don't put up with the smell, the little kitten will die.
Steve! I don't know what to say! I don't know what to say. Imagine this in faking it. Imagine their faces when he says that and they're going, oh my God. Oh. Carl, play a song, mate.
We'll have to confer on this one.
Go on then.
Right. First one. Nothing is worth more than this day.
Excellent. Next one.
What does that mean?
Well, cherish now, cherish your time.
Okay.
Because you can't get it back, and you know.
That's the way I saw it.
Carpe diem, whatever it is, seize the day and all that.
Okay. If you want the rainbow, you've got to put up with the rain.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, rough with the smooth. You know, it's not all plain sailing, but you know, rainbow's beautiful, but it comes because of the rain, which you might not like. So make the most of everything, and good.
Cat food doesn't smell good, but if you don't put up with it, then the little kitten will die.
Right, now, Carl, that is a good effort. Now, that one's yours. I mean, obviously, right? Right, no, but it's a good effort, right?
I mean, it slipped seamlessly into the others.
Yeah.
Don't think it didn't.
No, but it's good. I mean, we knew it was that one, but, what I will say is, it's good, but what you don't know, maybe subconsciously, is, I mean, it's very similar to, the putting up with the rain and the rainbow, but that's good.
Why do you think that?
Well...
What does mine mean?
Well, even though it smells bad, it's good for something.
Right, so see, I didn't look at it like that.
What did you look at that?
I kind of thought...
Was yours more specifically about cat food, generally? Because you know, normally it's an analogy.
Yeah, or a metaphor for something, you know,
well, no, the way
I mean, Dolly Parton, who I think did the rainbow rain thing, she wasn't specifically concerned about weather conditions.
No.
It was a sort of general idea.
Yeah, it was all about life.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've done.
Go on.
I've used an everyday thing.
Yeah.
And put it with today's problems, right?
Go on.
So, like, my girlfriend, she might like to go shopping for clothes. I hate it.
Right.
But because I love her, I put up with it.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, you love that little kitten. You can't stand the smell of the stuff, you got to feed it. But because you love it, you go, well, you know, I'll put up with this just for a few minutes, and then I can, like, squeeze its head later and give it a little...
Sorry!
Squeeze its little head.
No,
yeah.
Well, that's just the thing that I do with cats.
Put it in a bag and drown it in a lake.
I can feed it and then I can throw it against the wall.
Exactly.
So you didn't see it like that, did you?
No, that's very good. So it's about love, is it? It's about putting up with the bad things for something you love.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
But Carl, you seem now to be convinced and rather smug that you've tricked us and that you've fooled us and that we didn't understand it. Well, I say that's your fault, not ours.
No, it's not, though. I mean, look, that man in Forrest Gump, he was a bit of a nutter. And he came up with the life as a box of chocolates thing.
Yeah.
Now, if that was in this book, you say, oh yeah, brilliant, you know, good bit of work. But if he was sat here doing the show with you, you'd be taking the mickey out of him.
Sometimes I feel he is.
No, but, Carl, I could, in fact, if people are out there, we're too lazy, could you write down everything Carl's ever said? Because I think we could publish that.
Yeah.
He said one today, he saw my, salamander, it's not a euphemism, he saw my salamander and it's just sitting there in the tank.
Your exotic pet.
Yeah, and he's worried about there not being a lid on, and he said, I went, what are we worried about? He said, wow, he said it sits there for 24 hours a day, obviously planning to get out.
Well, it's got nothing else on its mind, and it's the daft thing is, he has actually got the lid ripped up a little bit. and it'll be looking up there.
Yeah.
It's going to get out.
But what's the worst that could happen?
What's it thinking? What do you think it's thinking, this salamander?
It's got its eye on the DVD player. I can have Ian be down the market.
Class. Rock the Casbah.
I love the fact you had at least 3 minutes to get that right.
I know.
Prepare and get that right.
I know, but my mouth was full of Maryland cookies. Yeah. You know, last week, this would blow your mind. He came in, do you know what he'd bought? For himself, about 10 penguins. Who buys penguins still?
I know. Or wagon wheels.
Oh, I've never liked wagon wheels.
You've not been a fan?
No, but I was sorry about that. It's The Clash and Rock the Casbah. Talking about records, have I told you that time my brother-in-law, he was moving out of his place, and I think moving in with my sister, and I was about, like, I don't know, 13, and so he was about, 30, and I moved in, and he brought round all, his records when he was storage to leave them at our house. Right, and he had all these old sort of records, 50s and 60s records, no, I was right, and they, put them upstairs, and I was looking through them, and, it's just all like Elvis stuff and Beatles stuff, and there was a mate of mine who loved Elvis, okay, and he had, loads of chemicals, yeah, he had loads of chemicals, and I was into chemistry, and, he said, "Let's swap me some chemicals for them," so I sort of nicked about 5 Elvis singles, and I got all these chemicals, and then the guilt just hit me. I just thought, well, he's gonna notice that, and one night, I just came downstairs, and I confessed to my mum, and she went, "Alright, well, I won't tell him, but you've got to be good." And it's sort of like I was just really, really good for a year. And then I remember, when I was about 18, my brother was talking about it, and he said, "Did you ever, play those records I left for you?"
Brilliant.
He told my mum, he said, "These are for Ricky." She just didn't tell me.
She was sharp, wasn't she?
She used opportunism there.
Oh, that's genius.
And, that was it. That's why I was good.
But you've never stolen anything since, have you?
No, I don't.
Except that spate of shoplifting after that to teach your mum a lesson.
yeah. Well, I went round, and arson. No, I did. I just couldn't believe it. It was terrible.
I remember, I think all kids go through a phase of shoplifting. Well. And when I was going through it, I used to just little things, just like magic markers and, magazines, Mars bars, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And one day, right, that my mate, Anthony, his mum called up my mum and said, I've got to meet up with you. I've got to have a word with you. And, she said, "What about?" She said, "I don't want to talk about it over the phone." So she goes, "Oh, right. Well, yeah, come round tonight then." So anyway, my mum sees me. She don't want to be in an awkward position and, like, be a bit embarrassed and what have you. So she sees me and she goes, "Right, Anthony's mum's coming round. What have you been doing?"
Yeah.
So I go, "Oh, God." I said, I've been nicking stuff. So she goes, "Like what?" So, not big stuff. I've had a few calculators and, Mars bars and stuff.
How many? I'll just work it out, hold on. Works out at 7.2 per day.
So,
how many calculators do you need?
So anyway, so it was when that phase...
You failed maths, didn't you?
Everyone wanted a calculator. It was like a trendy thing, wasn't it?
Right, oh yeah. In Manchester a couple of years ago, yeah.
So, anyway, so I told her all this and I confessed to, like...
Computers will make it there one day.
I confessed to...
There's magic in the back of battery. Go on.
Confessed to nicking all this stuff. She comes round, she only wanted to borrow some money.
Brilliant.
She said, "Oh, I don't like asking. I was a bit embarrassed to ask you over the phone, but can I borrow 20 quid?
Oh, that's fantastic.
And there's me.
That's great.
And it's similar sort of thing to yours.
And did you...
And he went, "Hold on, Mum, let's just work out the interest on that. I bank 10%. She'll owe you £4.40.
Oh, so your mum was a loan shark.
yeah.
And did she mention?
She went,
"I just stuff with that other?" Because what I'm saying is, presumably you got your mate in trouble.
No.
Right, you didn't.
That's great.
Anyway, should we have some more music? Because we've been waiting for hours.
What are you going to play, Carl?
We've got the Cooper Temple Clause.
Oh, brilliant.
Please.
Cooper Temple Clause. Who needs enemies? Good question, lads. Nobody. XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais.
Oh, they should print a little book of those. They're great. Oh, how you can relate any song or artist to anything else.
Easy.
Joyful.
Easy. Well, yeah, so, me and Carl went out, for a beer, and it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed myself.
We started
yeah,
off,
good.
and you met my mate Robin, didn't you?
Yeah.
And some of the stories. Do you want to tell Steve some things about Robin that you learned?
Do you know him well?
Yes.
Well, do you know about his worm problem as a kid?
Go on.
Right. He, what I can remember is he had worms as a kid. Not sure how you get him, he never answered me, he was getting a bit touchy about it.
Right.
This is like the second time I met him, and I think he was a bit annoyed that Ricky told me about his problem.
What now straight away, you not being there, instinctively, what do you think went on with this story about worms?
My suspicion is rather like when you told a group of people that Robin had once suckled milk from a cow's udder.
Yeah.
Did he mention that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. My suspicion is that, like the cow story, the worm story is not true.
But
and
why would he get so sort of uppity about it?
Well, imagine if that wasn't the first time he'd done it. Imagine if he did that every single time he was with somebody for the first time and Robin was just met them. He will tell that story to anyone.
But they do say there's no smoke without fire.
Oh, Robin! I also told him that the way Robin cured these worms was because the doctor told his mother, right, to hold a piece of ham or cheese near Robin's anus so the worms would come out for the food, and he believed it.
I'll tell you why, though.
I said to Robin used to sit on Spam to try and get the worms out, and he believed it.
But Steve, right, do you remember that story about 3 or 4 years ago where there was some bloke in the army? He went away to somewhere, Vietnam or whatever. He was messing about in the woods.
Messing about in the woods?
Shouldn't he have been fighting?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right, and he walked through some lake, and I think he'd cut his toe or something on something, and some worm of some sort crawled in the gash.
Yeah.
And it was in his body, and the doctor said, we've got to get this out of your body. So what they did was, they said, right, the thinnest part or something of your body that things can crawl through is on the top of your head. So they wrapped
where the skull is.
So they wrapped some bacon.
No, they didn't.
They did. That's
right.
Everyone...
So he's gone in by the toe. So what we do is, I'll tell you what, that worm's probably heading straight for the head. We'll put a bit of bacon on it. The thinnest part of the body is the skull. Of course it's not the thinnest part of the body. It's where your brain case is, isn't it? It's the skull.
There was a reason for it. And it was like they stuck some bacon on his head. And
as ever, the vital piece of information, i.e. the reason, Karl seems to have forgotten.
Because the worm was in his body, and they said everyone likes the smell of bacon.
Including worms.
Even a Vietnamese lake worm. They love bacon.
Remember last week when I said about the little fella with the bone with no brain, and you were proved wrong?
No.
Please.
No. We were saying it wasn't a little fella. We were saying it was a stillborn child. It wasn't a little fella.
You're changing it now. You weren't having any of it last week.
Right, hang on a minute. I'm getting confused. There was a Vietnamese snake that went inside of a soldier.
A little, like, maggot or some sort that you have to get out of your body because it causes problems.
Yes, and so in order to get it out of the body, they strapped bacon to his head.
Yeah.
That is great. This doctor.
And did that work?
I think so. They had a picture of him smiling.
Oh, God, what, the worm or the bloke?
The bloke.
Oh, dear.
Honestly, I hope someone knows the story.
Right.
It was about 3 years ago, I reckon.
Okay.
And, yeah, it did work.
GI bacon.
So this is why
the worm burrowed out of his head to get the bacon?
Get to the bacon.
Right. That's great.
So this is why when Robin was telling his story, I was a little bit disappointed if it wasn't true.
Right.
Because in a way...
You know Robin's never been to Vietnam.
No, but do you really think that Robin, well, as Robin said at the time, Karl, why would I sit on ham, then tell Ricky Gervais? It's a very good point.
Because if he was a kid, you do daft things like that as a kid.
Right.
See, it's the telling Ricky Gervais, though.
Yeah. And then, oh, bless him.
Okay.
And then anyway, Robin left, and I tried to chase him, but he got away. He knows that yeah. And then we had a few pints, and then Karl embarked on some of the greatest stories ever told. Can you tell the story about your dad?
Let me run it. I haven't spoke to him all week, so let me run it by him.
Okay, play record.
Because
what we got?
We've got one of Steve's
Yeah, well,
tunes.
bizarrely enough, this comes from the Teachers 2 soundtrack, the soundtrack to the current TV series. There's a slight whiff of nepotism in the air.
Yeah.
Rick, would you like to explain why?
Well, that's why you're doing it. No, my girlfriend worked on it. But
Yeah.
you were going to play this anyway, weren't you?
Well, I was actually. Bizarrely enough, I was going to play some I Am Clute, and this is from, as I say, the Teachers soundtrack. This is called To You. It's a good track. That's I Am Clute, and a track called To You from the Teachers soundtrack. That's also got, I noticed the Electric Soft Parade, The Hives, Star Sailor, Feeder, Turin Breaks, Mercury Rev on there. It's a good little collection.
Lovely. Carl, has just had confirmation. He's looking smug, because someone phoned up and went, it is true, it's a Laogai chi worm, and you wrap bacon around your head. That's all the bloke knew as well.
Yeah.
And his name was Gary.
Yeah.
So I'm not having it.
No.
And he said, see, that's why the Robin thing isn't so weird. He said, but when you said he tried it with cheese, he said I was having none of it. He's got standards. Strokes, hard to explain. Like Carl, really.
Yes. Yes.
So, Carl, concentrate.
Yeah, go on.
So, we'll leave the worm with the bacon wrapped round the head, shall we?
Well, if you're ever caught in the jungle,
Yeah. Always carry some...
bit of Danish.
Good advice. Lovely. So, would you like to start on your, to Steve, because I've heard all these.
Well, we won't do them all.
Well, we'll start off with the Mr. Freeze. Tell Steve the story of Mr. Freeze. This is the first time he nearly died.
This is the most serious of the lot, really. So, what it was, do you know, like, I don't know if your mum and dad did the same thing, but, like, they do the weekly shopping on like, a Friday.
Yeah.
So when you got to Thursday, there wouldn't be much stuff left in the cupboard. It'd just be like, you know, your Jacob's crackers and stuff like that. So when they'd been to the supermarket and they came back, I was like, you know, what's that saying? Like a pig in... You know, I loved it. It was like loads of food coming in, loads of biscuits.
What is that saying?
He nearly said pig in shit.
Right.
Is that the saying?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, all this food comes in.
Thank God he didn't.
Otherwise he'd have been in trouble.
That's true enough.
Because he's culpable for our actions, because
Exactly.
he's the producer. So technically, that twat's in charge. Go on.
Right, so anyway, so there's loads of food, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at this, and chocolate biscuits, and, you know, penguins and stuff.
Bacon.
And bacon.
Just in case, you never know.
So anyway, my mum and dad's putting the food away. Me and our kid are like, he's already grabbed something, gone back upstairs.
It's like feral children. it's like a quest for fire. And then they run upstairs. What did he just sit under the bed, gnawing at some sort of pig's trotter?
So I saw, do you remember Mr. Freeze Pops?
I do, yes. Well, they're kind of like popsicles, icicles.
Yeah, but really long, like a foot long, right? Yeah. So I thought, I'll have one of them, so I grabbed it.
Went for the nutritious stuff first.
Absolutely.
And like, my mum and dad are putting the stuff away and what have you. And I rip it open and knock it back. Right, straight away, just right back like
Swallow
that.
it,
Right,
yeah.
But it went down the wrong way, right? So I was
down
like,
your shirt?
So I was like, oh God, I can't breathe. And my mum and dad didn't even know what I'd ate. Do you know what I mean? I ate it so quick.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of tapping my mum on the back, going, and she's going, oh God, you know, he's choking again, because I was always choking. If it was one thing, I don't know if I've got like a small throat, but I mean, even Ricky knows I can't drink that much, can I?
Yeah.
Do you know,
or eat pebbles.
I'm not a quick drinker. I'd always, I think I'm scared of like swallowing stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like bottle tops and mint imperials and stuff. I was always choking on stuff.
Oh, jeez.
So anyway, she's going, oh God, what's he picked up on it now?
Drop it!
So-
And she hit his nose with a stick.
So I was going, I'm choking. At this point, my dad had like, I think he'd put his share away, you know, his food away, and he'd gone
His share! I love it!
Yeah.
he'd gone to watch like Winner Takes All or whatever in a lounge, and I was in the kitchen, and I was starting to like I didn't care anymore. Do you know what I mean? I just got to that point where I wasn't struggling anymore.
You just thought, I'm done
I just
for.
was like falling to the ground. And my mum's going, you know, get in here, I think it's serious. And my dad comes in and sort of starts shouting at me, saying that's what you get for being greedy. He didn't even know what I'd eaten.
Well, it was the moment to teach you a lesson, certainly.
So he's there like that, and my mum's going, oh, look at him, and my lips were going purple, and my eyes were rolling into the back of my head.
You look like Marilyn Manson.
And, so anyway, she grabbed me from behind and did that fireman thing.
The Heimlich manoeuvre.
Yeah. And, you know, winded me. And it came up, and I was alright.
What, the whole popsicle came flying back out?
You see, that's what I don't understand. Because There was nothing there.
No, just a little bit. No, it swells up, doesn't it? Because it irritated it, so it went down your sort of like your epiglottis. It went down the wrong way, like it went into your air canal instead of your throat, and it sort of spasms, and that's the fear. You just got to calm it down and relax.
So in time, I would have been alright.
Yeah,
anyway.
you don't.
Well, no, you might have.
So that's so that's
hang on,
one.
No, but the weird thing is, like, for like 3 days after that, I felt like a sort of special person. I went to school.
I'm saying nothing.
I did full days.
A special needs person.
Yeah.
I went to school the next 3 days after that. I didn't like wag it or anything. I did full days.
I love that. 3 days, turn over a leaf.
Yeah, exactly. After 3 days, you thought, screw it.
Yeah, did a quick history exam. Right, next one.
Weird.
That's popsicle. That's popsicle hell, we'll call that. Right, next one.
Which one's the next one?
Oh, what about your paper round?
Right, the paper round one. Paper round, I'd still say it's the best job I've ever had.
And he means it!
No, I really enjoyed it. It's like, you know, you don't have to work with anyone else, right? So you make your own rules.
Just think of that.
You know, you sort of
You're spreading information to people, vital information.
Giving a service, and no one else is around, you know, you can just do what you want and think about stuff whilst you're cycling around on your bike. It's really good.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Imagine the stuff he's thinking about when he's riding around his bike.
I can't. So getting in the head of a salamander.
So anyway, I loved it, and even though I only got like 50p a day, right, no matter what the weather was like and stuff, I used to get up at 4:30 and go and do the round. And
why'd you get up at 4:30?
Because I wanted to watch the Pink Panther at 5:30, so I wanted to get me paper round done.
I said, why didn't you watch the Pink Panther?
And then
he went, oh, I can't sit there thinking I've got my paper round to do.
You'll ruin it for him.
Yeah. So is it a good job or not?
So 4:30 I was up and about, and this morning it was like winter, really bad winter, bad snow, you know, freezing cold, really windy and all that. And my mum said to me before I went to bed, she said, don't be getting up tomorrow, I'll give you the 50p. I said, it's not about the 50p. So, you know, people want the papers and stuff. So,
conscientious.
So anyway, I went to bed thinking, you know, that's it, I've told her I'm still going, so, you know, whatever. Go to sleep, get up in the morning, and put all my kit on. And I used to have layers of clothing on because it was really cold. I had like a big anorak on with the fur on. I had like waterproof pants, and I got my paper round bag. And I went downstairs to get out, and tried to open the door, and it was locked. Oh, God. So she'd locked it so I couldn't go out, so I'm searching around the house looking for the keys. She must have hid them somewhere. I thought, oh God, you know, I've got the papers to do. So I thought, how can I get out? So I went upstairs, climbed out of the bathroom window.
God.
Right, and to try and jump out of the bathroom window onto the porch. But the problem was, I had so much gear on, I was like the Michelin Man. So I could hardly move as it is.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get out the window, and I'm like, trying to stretch down like that, get my foot on the porch, and my bag got caught on like the hook of, do you know, like how you have a hook so you can put the window open?
Right, yeah,
the little arm goes on. My bag had got caught on that. I was holding on to the wall and my foot on the thing, so I couldn't sort of pull it away in case I pulled it away and then fell on my head.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck there.
Dangling.
My dad comes back from working nights.
Yeah.
He thinks I'm a burglar.
Gets out his gun.
So he's shouting and stuff, going mad and going, Dad, it's me. And he had to give us a hand using a...
He's heard that wily trick in Manchester before.
He had to help me using a washing prop thing. A big stick.
What did he do?
Well, he said, just hold on for your dear life, and I'll sort of push the paper bag off the hook.
Why didn't he go upstairs and sort it out?
It was at that point where I was in the middle, there was nothing you could do, do you know what I mean? It's at that point where you've just got to make a decision.
Yeah.
And by the time you got upstairs, who knows what might have happened.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to act there and then, no messing around.
Yeah.
So...
And you could hear downstairs, now here he is, the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Dad!
Hurry up!
Panther, ever so pink. Oh.
So that was close to death, because I must have been about 30 foot in the air.
So, to cut a long story short, he gave me about 4 or 5 near-death experiences, and he went, and the whole point of this, he went, so that's why I think I'm gonna die of something horrible, like cancer. And I went, why? He went, right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
He said, well, I don't check my balls. Wait. He said, I don't like the feel.
Carl, always check your balls.
Do you check yours?
Like the feel. Why don't you like the feel of your own balls?
They just... I mean, you know that I don't like bodies anyway.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It worries me a bit that you've got all that going on in your body, right, and your skin's keeping it all in place.
Stop. We're going down a whole other avenue of discussion. Let's play a track, let's come back to it.
Alright, this is Karl, the producer of Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant on XFM 104.9. We're playing out some of the best bits, hope you're enjoying it. Here's another one.
His homework was to come up with those stupid lateral thinking problems.
We maybe should give an example of the,
Romeo and Juliet, right? Romeo's asleep on the bed, Juliet's on the floor, covered in water and broken glass. What happened? And you ask all these stupid questions, and it's Romeo's a cat and Juliet's a goldfish. Again,
awful.
What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on then, Karl.
Right,
yeah.
There's a bloke lying on the floor, right? He's cut his head, blood's coming out of his head, and all his mates come running up, and they're all stood round him.
Yeah.
And, they don't take their hats off as a mark of respect.
That is outrageous.
Why didn't they take their hats off?
I'm laughing, but it's probably as good as the real
absolutely.
ones. A bloke's fallen with his... Yeah.
He's lying on the floor.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah.
His mates come running up like,
wasn't it was it important that his head was cut?
I don't know. I mean,
would it have been okay if he'd have been wearing a hat? He wouldn't have been dead if he was wearing a hat.
What's your answer?
No, you're meant to answer a question. You don't just go, what's your answer? You say, where's it turns out, you go, no, and I have to guess. It's obviously like sort of motorcycle stunt team or a parachute.
Why didn't they take their hats off?
Because they're probably still on the motorbikes or something, or...
Well, yeah, but if you mark a respect to someone, you could take your helmet off.
I'm getting angry!
What? They're parachutists.
Why couldn't they take their helmets off?
Because they're coming down from the sky.
But he's on the floor dead.
Well, yeah, but they can look down and see him on the floor.
Are they on the floor, Karl?
They're on the floor as well.
They're walking, are they?
Yeah, well, they sort of stood there looking at him.
They're stood there. Yeah. They're stood on the floor looking at him.
They're soldiers.
Why? But why? If they're
because it might be in a battle zone. They might have their helmets on, and he's been shot in the head.
No.
Well, that does work. You see, this is my point. That one works. That one works. Unless you give us a piece of information where that doesn't work. What's the difference? Why is yours different to he's been shot in the head in the trenches, and they're looking at him and they keep their helmets on?
I just don't think it matters as much. If they're in the trench, they're already guarded a little bit. So they could take their hats off. It's the best mate, for God's sake.
Okay, he's dwelling on this. Are they normal hats?
What kind of hats are they?
The answer.
No! Don't get ratty!
What kind of hats are they? Baseball hats?
If I told you what sort of hats they are, you'd have the answer.
Wow! Okay, I've got to guess what sort of a hat it is then, have I?
Right.
Is it a trilby?
No.
Is it a bowler?
I know what it is.
What?
They're spacemen.
No. Oh, that's a good one.
That one works as well. This is my point.
I like that one a lot.
It works. He's fallen on the moon, and not that the moon happened, it was set up, wasn't it, in the studio, we know that, yeah. Okay, Karl, what's your answer?
Builders on a building site.
Why is that different to soldiers?
Because bricks don't fall in wars.
But bullets fly!
Right.
Let's play a record and we'll come back to it, Karl, while you think about what you've done.
Oh, yeah. You've embarrassed
Let's
yourself.
play some classic Suede.
Yeah, and this is for David and Kieran, I think, who wanted a bit of Butler. XFM 104.9, I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Steve.
Well, we were talking about the news just now, and there was a story I heard in the week, I think, it was on the radio, and I don't know all the details, but what I heard was that a number of, I think it was Falkland, maybe Gulf War veterans, were, I think, suing or complaining to the government because they wanted compensation for post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it seems to me that if you're in the army and you're a soldier, a certain degree of trauma is kind of inevitable. I mean, after all, if you're any good at your job, you are going to see people getting killed. So I don't understand what the ins and outs of it are. I don't know why.
No, right, when he came back and Tony Blair met him and go, alright, well, not really, no. Go on, what's the matter? Well, there was people shooting at us and everything, it was all muddy. Well, calm down, don't cry. Well, I will cry.
There was a drill sergeant just kept shouting, saying, "Look at you, stupid boy, where's this gun's not clean?" I just cleaned the gun and it was fine, and now he's telling me to clean it again.
Yeah, and the boots, they were shiny. He's got to do that, it's more distant.
His neck was as big as his head.
Well, yeah, but you don't know what they,
I don't know what the ins and outs of it are, but,
what you gotta do is make sure you know what you're going into. That's what I do, you gotta check the small print. So if I was, going over to, like, the Falklands, or, the Gulf, I'd put my hand and go, will it be horrible? And I go, you at the back, yes? Will it be horrible? It will be horrible, yes. It will be horrible. There will be shooting and lots of death and everything. I go, right, I'm not gonna go. And they go,
Exactly.
okay then. Okay.
That should be fine, yeah.
Should be fine, yeah, just like that. Is anyone else scared about this? Pretty much all of us. Okay then, well, we won't send anyone then.
My brother went into the army, right, because he couldn't get a normal job. And my dad said, if you don't get a job by such a date, that's it, son, you're going in the army. And so when was the Falklands? Was it about
81?
Right? And he joined back in, like, 81 or something. And, I don't know, he was in Aldershot or something.
Oh, yeah.
And, he wrote back to my mum saying, a bad time to join, bad time in this. So she wrote...
Well, bad time to join, that's so sweet, Carl, isn't it? That's like, dear Dad, yeah, well done.
Don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah. I was on the dole, that's for sure. Thank you for joining, a month before the Belgrano.
Anyway,
go on.
My mum called up, spoke to the sergeant, and said, can you leave him out of this one?
Can you leave him out of this one? What, the Falkland War?
He's only just joined, and she called him Chuck, which he got done for. Like, she's one of them, I think it's a northern thing, like saying, how are you, Chuck?
Yeah.
And she called the sergeant Chuck, and the sergeant said to, like, my brother, your mum, she's called up and asked if you can not go. Which, of course, we'll see how it goes. But can you tell
What do you mean? Why did the sergeant even entertain this?
Well,
Pilkington, come here. Your mum's been giving me a bit of earache. Now listen, tell her I've told you, but can you call her, because she called me Chuck and everything. Can you call her and say you don't mind? Well, not really. Oh, please, because I've promised her say you want to go. No, please, say you want to go. Why was he entertaining this phone call?
Because he was new to the army, I suppose.
Who? No, I mean the sergeant.
I don't know, maybe they do that.
So what happened? He didn't go in the end?
So he didn't go, no.
You can't do it!
But that's ludicrous!
I love it, that, we went over the top. Pilkington, I've got a note. Yeah. Is this really your mum? Yeah. Okay, no, this seems to be in order.
Because I noticed it says, I do not want to go into the army, I don't want to go and fight, and it's crossed out and it says, my mum says don't go. Now, you didn't write this yourself,
No, my mum wrote this. Okay,
you definitely wrote this yourself.
Your excuse. You're gonna have to fill envelopes.
No, I'm sure if he was needed, he would have had to go, but I think they made a bit of a special effort. They sort of said, oh.
Well, it wasn't conscription anyway. Oh no,
But were the other soldiers going around just going,
Pilkington.
No, he ended up being a mechanic in there, and he got kicked out for, going for a packet of fags in a tank.
What?
Now, wait a minute. Do you mean he nipped down the shops in a tank?
Yeah.
I don't believe that, Carl. You've
Honest
made that
to God. That, and he went off with the sergeant's wife. So that didn't help, and he ended up getting kicked out.
Sorry, your brother's a genius.
I love this. First of all, he gets a call from his mum, go and let him up, and he goes, oh God. Then he goes, where's Pilkington? His mum's on the phone. Where is he? He's near your house, Sarge. Near my house? Well, why is... No reason. Well, when he comes back, when he's finished, tell him his mum called. And can he get me a packet of fags? Tell him to walk this time.
Wow.
This is ludicrous.
So the sergeant found out that he was sleeping with his wife?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Did your mum phone up and say, let him off?
Let him off this time. Can he... Yeah. That's fantastic.
But he misses it. I mean, I haven't seen him for about 11 years. But ever since he came out, he's just kept getting into trouble and that. And the army, people slag it off, but I think if you're a certain type of person, it's good for you.
It didn't straight him either, how did it?
No.
He was going down the shops in a tank, he was shagging someone behind their back.
It's really weird. It's like back then, he was like a proper adult, and he had a house, and he collected crystal with his wife and that. And now, he hasn't got any of that.
Has he got the wife?
No.
Has he got the crystal?
Don't think he has.
And he hasn't got the house.
Seriously, I haven't seen him for about 11 or 12 years. So I haven't even spoken to him.
Carl's stories always start off nice and funny, and then they just leave me empty and slightly depressed. I don't know whether to hug him or shoot him, put him out of his misery. Can we take Carl to the... phone in if you think I should take Carl to the vets and have him put down. Because it's just too stressful.
This is what I'd like to leave you with, a song for the ladies. Start this on the